And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Uno, two, tres, four.
You do. Wait, what would happen?
I was saying it kept cutting off, so that's why I had to disconnect the USB hub.
Oh, okay. Your mic kept cutting off. Not I was cutting off.
Yeah. No, not the mic, the headphones.
Wait, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was getting confused the way you're wording that. I'm like, wait, I'm confused. Is he saying yes to me not coming on?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, my wording isn't the best.
No, you're fine. Is that just people do that to me all the time, and I get easily confused when they're like, yeah. I ask him, like, wait, so are we going out or are we staying home? And then someone goes, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just stare. I had my friend do that to me recently. I'm like saying like, wait, so are we heading out around 1 or are we heading out around 2? And he goes, yes. And I look at him, I'm like, so 1:30? But yeah, anyways, hello.
Well, calm down there, Dula.
No, I have I was chewing on something earlier. So I was eating a Tootsie Roll Pop, and I have this like little. It's not a cavity. It's just a little like crack in my tooth. Not really, like kind of crack. And like it's like a small indent, and like a piece of candy got stuck. Things get stuck in there sometimes, and I always like fiddle along with it on my tongue.
Oh, trust me, that happened when I'm eating popcorn too.
Well, like sometimes because I've been licking it to like make it go away. Like the sweetness got in my throat when I swallowed some saliva.
Yeah, it's not as worse as me accidentally biting my lip and then getting a fucking blister.
No, I fucking hate. Like I hate when like sometimes you're talking and like that little end piece of like the bottom of your lip, like the inner line, gets like just magically gets put right between your like that side of your tooth, and you just bite down on it. It sucks. Oh god, I hate it.
It does.
I hate the feeling of biting your lip because like that feeling doesn't go away because like since you put pressure on it and you pinch that area, the nerves are now getting like a little swollen, and now that area is like becomes like kind of like a bump, and you feel it, and then you just keep fiddling around with it, like you become like obsessed with it. Like I get obsessed over the weirdest things, like when things like that happen to me. Like if I have like a nail, I know for a fact is like breaking, I can't do anything until I like kind of bite it off, and I can't do anything until I like bite off the little bits there, so this way everything's even.
I used to do that whenever I had my baby teeth.
No,
And then every time one of my tooth would fall out, I always was obsessed with like just getting out myself. Like no, just let it wait. Just my friends were like no, just let it wait. I'm like no, I just kept going.
No, I have those like little like tits of like little ticks of doing things like that. Like as a kid, I used to constantly bite my nails.
Oh, I used to do that too. I mean, I bite my nails because having long nails affects my guitar playing.
Well, I get that for like guitar playing. For me specifically, I don't mind having long nails. In fact, I actually prefer having long nails. But because since I used to bite them so much as a kid, my nails as an adult don't grow as strong. Like they're kind of fragile. As soon as they get too long, the tips become a little fragile. So like the smallest bit of thing of like putting pressure on them can actually break them. Like especially since I work in a job that like makes me like move a bunch of heavy shit. If like I'm not careful and I grab something the wrong way, the nail will break.
Yeah, I mean my nails. I haven't had my nails this long like in like a few years now. Ever since I started playing guitar, I was just kept biting my nails because I know having long nails would always affect my guitar playing.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, we have rambled on enough about random shit. So how about we actually get started in the actual like reason why we're here to talk about many of the different things of anime related news, manga, all that jazz. So Bruto, are you ready?
Gui himself is ready.
Okay, before we start, I want to thank you guys for coming out and showing and listening to us what we have to say. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and hope you guys enjoy what we'll be talking about, because we have quite a bit of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, we do.
This first story isn't really like anything major. I am making a video on this. Like I have already got like the video halfway through. I just need to like finish up the last bit of like recording and everything. But this video should be going out hopefully within the next 2 days, maybe even sooner. But anyways, so this first little bit of news is kind of funny. Crunchyroll has announced massive ad-free streaming deal from anime. So
yeah, it sounds like Anna Mondays.
exactly. When I saw that, I was like, hey, copyright infringement. But no. So what they're doing is, sorry. What they're doing is essentially for like just for the month of May, you can get a promotional event that basically makes it this way. If you go with their fan plan, it only costs $1.99 from their $10 deal, from their $9.99 deal, or you can get their mega fan deal for $2.99, which is usually about $12 a month. And essentially, you get that for the next 3 months, and then the next billing cycle after that month will be the regular price. And the reason why I'm bringing this up as like a little like thing to talk about, and why I'm going to be talking about it for my for a video, is because this has actually gotten the topic like one. This has resurfaced a lot of the controversies that the Crunchyroll has been going through for like the past year. Like, how we've been talking about like on this show and like together and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And two, this has made people actually look at it. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. You guys would never do this unless you're desperate to do it. Why are you doing this special event? So people are now using this as a kind of like evidence that Crunchyroll is actually hurting in the numbers department, and they're actually bleeding for subscribers.
Yeah.
I want to say one of the biggest people.
So essentially, they're going into damage control.
Well, not so much damage control, but they're basically like people are using this as evidence. And basically, the past controversies, how like they've gone into 2 lawsuits involving the fact that one, they sold people's identifications from their Crunchyroll like username and all that stuff to companies to use so they can market stuff.
Data breach.
Yeah, one, it was them willingly selling our information to a third-party company to basically sell us shit for marketing, and then 2, there was an actual data breach that got a hold of that information without Crunchy's knowledge, so they're being sued for that as well. So they have 2 lawsuits on them right now. So yeah, so people are using this as evidence, like, oh, so you guys fuck up all this time, and now you guys want to just come back because you got things like being cheaper for the next 3 months. Fuck off, country, and that's what like people are acting. And like some of the people I've seen break this, like of course one of the people I've seen the most talking about this is everyone's favorite like little like shitter online, fucking Chibi reviews. And I always say this: I like Chibi enough. My biggest problem is with Chibi is either A, he does not do enough reading, or B, because he's pushing out a video like almost daily. Actually, I think he does push out videos daily. He doesn't do enough research into things past like the headline article.
Yeah, it just feels like a lot like what Rev does.
Well, it's not so much. I would say Rev is a little bit better because Rev does do daily content. The difference is the fact that all the information Rev needs is actually right there on Twitter. Most of the time, the people talking in the comment sections or reposting or quote posting.
Rely too much on Twitter.
Oh no, I agree with you. I'm just saying there's more of an avenue for Rev and someone like Hirohei to get information they need. And I will say, most of the time, Rev and Hirohei and people like them actively read the articles they have for their videos.
Well, except for the Cinder one.
I will say yes, I agree with you on the Cinder one. They skimmed it, but I'm not using one bad mistake as a that is the exception. That is not the rule for them. In Chibi's case,
exactly.
If you've ever watched any of his content when he goes over information, majority of the time he holds one screenshot up involving the topic he's talking about, and he'll go in and he'll start talking about the situation, giving his perspectives, giving his evidence on the situation, but he won't actually he won't change the screen too often or not to really showcase his viewpoint. He'll just, and I don't want to say it's laziness. I just want to say he's grown to a point where people just kind of like believe him naturally, because in the past he used to do that, but now he doesn't do it as much.
Does it sound like more like he adopted a bad habit?
I would say he probably adopted a bad habit. I would say 100%. He's gotten so big that he doesn't do it intentionally. I'm not trying to present malice to him. I'm trying to basically just justify.
Or attack him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to justify why I think he's doing it, and this is kind of my biggest problem.
Like at least say honest advice for him.
Yeah, I would say if I was Chibi, I would say do at least a little bit more due diligence. And when you're going through what you would say is your points or your arguments towards the situation you're covering, scroll through wherever you're doing, maybe a news article, maybe X, whatever, and at least showcase to the audience what you're talking about. Because just having one screenshot on the screen isn't enough to really justify half the things you're talking about.
You have to have more sources.
Exactly.
To back that up.
And again, I want to say it's because Chibi's gotten so large, people just in his audience naturally believe, oh, it's Chibi. He's done his research and yada yada yada. So I don't really need to.
But that's not really the case, because
exactly,
like you said, if you're gonna go through screenshot and don't bother to just look any more other contexts, then why even like bother with it to begin with?
Exactly. Well, that's why I bring this up, is because it wasn't just him. Like I saw like a few other people, like a couple of smaller anime channels and a couple of news sites talk about it. Like I think like for instance this one right here, IGN, they're talking about it, and a couple of like the Anime Corner. Oh yeah, no, trust me, we're gonna get into them a lot later. But anyways, no, like Anime Corner, Otaku Spirits, like they're talking about it too, and they're using this as kind of like poignant evidence, or they're not making it a claim. They're mostly just kind of alluding to, hey, this is kind of weird. You guys have never done this. And to their credit, no, both Crunchyroll and other streaming platforms like Crunchyroll, like Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, don't typically lower their monthly subscriptions, even for promotion. What they do is either they release promo codes via some sort of like, hey, if you purchase this like new game, you'll get like a promo code, so you get like 1 month free with every added purchase or some stupid shit like that, right? Like they won't ever lower their price. If anything, they'll increase their price because they're seeing like problems, or they'll make bundle deals, so this way you're getting, in their words, more bang for your buck. But typically wouldn't. Typically, no streaming service has ever lowered its price for its monthly subscriptions.
Oh no, they're not gonna lower the price. Let's be honest, they're not.
No. I'm not saying they are. It's just like people are making the argument. Oh, even if it's only for 3 months, it's crazy the fact that y'all went to this extreme for your subscriptions because it is
Yeah, I
$2
mean,
for you're paying $2 for 3 months.
But I feel like this is like no different to what other mainstream streaming services do. Like
Well,
Disney
that's what I'm
Plus,
saying. I
Netflix,
was looking into it
Hulu.
because I was really curious about that. And no, Netflix has never offered a promotional code like this. Disney Plus has never offered a
Yes.
promotional code like this. HBO Max has never offered a promotional code. Hulu has never offered one like this. No other streaming platform, aside from Crunchyroll, currently has offered a promo law like this. Usually, when anything they offer any promotional deals, it has to do with bundle deals. Meaning, if you subscribe now, you'll get like for instance, Disney Plus, they package their ESPN stuff and Hulu stuff together for a lower price altogether. But that's the most they'll do. They won't actually lower their price for like any period of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why people are kind of using this as evidence. To me, this is not indicative of them hurting for subscribers because I actually looked it up. Currently, Crunchyroll has actually had a small boost in subs over the years, with the exception to happening this past few months because of the controversy. But they're not hurting by any means for subscriptions right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so I would say like that's kind of like the big thing. But yeah, that's just like the one little subject that we're going over today for Crunchy. Like I said, I'm making a video on this, and I'm just kind of like provide evidence and my arguments why I don't think this is indicative of them hurting for money. I do think it's pretty funny, and I do like the fact that people are drawing the conclusion from that. But I think this is just for some. I think this is just what it is, a promotional deal. Because again, we have to also remember Crunchyroll is getting Sony has already backed Crunchyroll so much so that A1 Productions and Aniplex are making a joint studio specifically to make anime that's only going to be exclusively aired on Crunchyroll. We also have A1 Productions, their main team, still going to be making mainline series for Crunchyroll. And if anything else, Crunchyroll has actually also gotten the rights to being able to put other animes from places like High Dive onto their platform. So it's
Well, I should
funny.
probably wait the day until High Dive gets bought.
I don't think High Dive is ever gonna get bought, but I do think High Dive needs to definitely change. High Dive's biggest issue is the fact that their UI is garbage. Their
Yeah,
actual
definitely is.
system of operation for both their app
Yeah.
and website is hot trash. The
Yeah,
way to
'cause I
rewind,
remember-
go to next episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember when I was watching Gushing Over Master Girls and Lumi's server, it was through High Dive, and oh my god, the fucking UI was fucking ass. Like there'll be times where it would freeze, and then there'll be times where the next episode wouldn't fucking go, and then you had to fucking just flick it on your own. Like, goddamn.
No, yeah,
It was
the High Dive's biggest issue is its UI. It's got some pretty good anime on it. Like it's got Call of the Night, it's got Eminence and Shadow, probably one of the most popular like isekais I've seen since Overlord and That Time I Get Reincarnated Slight. People fucking love Eminence and Shadow, and it was only exclusively on High Dive. You got why am I forgetting some of these names right now? Ragna, that's pretty popular. That's decently popular. Oshinoko, even though, like I said, Oshinoko just got like its season 3 put onto Crunchyroll as well. So you have options with High Dive. The problem is High Dive's UI is hot trash, and because they have only their own in-house people working on there, you also only have their own in-house like English dubbers and translators. So sometimes the
and
new
they're not always gonna
seasons.
and they can't always rely on those people too. Because
Exactly,
they'll
because they also
put up-
work for other
they'll-
companies.
No, but also because they'll put in their own bullshit to fit their
I would
narrative.
say High Dive's probably the much better when it comes to translations. Can there still be some bullshit? Yes, but High Dive typically like is kind of on the up and up. Like I said, High Dive's biggest issue is the fact that purely mechanics in their actual websites. The UI is trash. They need to fix up how you actually can navigate their system to both find series and animes and whatever genre you want to look for. They got to make a better system to actually like put on like some sort of like list that you can go to your favorites. Like there has to be someone needs to go in and actually work on their website and their app. That's what they need. everything else is fine. Like their animes on there aren't the best, but then again, I would say there's plenty enough there that people can actually be like watch High Dive over Crunchyroll. Currently, maybe not in the past, but now there's a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got to say about Crunchy. That's all I really like was bringing up. It's just that I thought it was funny. Um, the next little bit for this is kind of something interesting. So let's see, I have it here, right? Yeah, okay. So did you hear that Anime Kai is has shut down? Actually, yeah, it's past that now. Another pirated website for anime has now officially shut down.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, it's like I've seen that one meme where it's like a bunch of graves on a lot of.
Yeah, I saw that meme. I think we're thinking of the same meme too. I didn't save it in time. I thought it was pretty funny and sad at the same time. It was literally Aaron looking off into the void, and you just saw like surrounding him all like the different like logos of all the anime pirated sites like slowly dissipating, and it's just like saying like when you're the last one left alive.
Well, I think all of them are gonna get taken down.
Well, it's so here. I actually have an article here by Tucker Cart. Anime Kai officially shuts down. Inside the fire, the fallout, and the end of an era of anime piracy. Anime Kai. Oh, it's just a fire of the third-party data center killed Anime Kai overnight. A year of Ace raids, USTR listings, and Interpol operations made sure it wouldn't come back. Anime Kai is one of the most heavily trafficked unauthorized anime streaming platforms on the internet. Has officially gone dark. On May 10th, 2026, the site dropped serving episodes and posted a short farewell message to millions on its daily users. Quote, as you see, we are a lot of things recently. We are unable to continue running the project. It's time to back up your list and find a new home for your anime journey. A separate developer statement shared across X, Reddit, and the site's Discord were even blunter. Sorry, our data center has been burned. We're no longer able to provide the following hosting services. So, what this all means is, after being raided by all these other different like global conglomerates and like government bodies and stuff like that, because piracy is being looked at as piracy is now being targeted more and more and more by these companies, by these countries. Again, like Japan, they really want to do away with piracy. So because there's been more of an actual effort to do away with it, they've actually been succeeding. They've been attacking like their actual servers and making sure this way it's a lot harder for them to maintain, to host, and provide updates for the actual anime. So whenever a new episode gets dropped in Japan, they just can't, they simply can't just strip it, burn it, and then put it on their site. It actually has become a lot harder for them to do that. And so because you're not really updating a new episode, one of the biggest things about these pirate sites is that most of these sites, almost day of, would have the episode ready. Like I remember one of the sites I used to use, I used to watch One Piece on. Literally, the episode would come out in Japan on Saturday, and I'd be able to see it like 12 a.m. Sunday morning. I would have to wait till like 12 a.m., but I would get it like that fast. And it would be in such good quality. Maybe sometimes the opening was slightly cut off, or like the intro, but there was nothing, there was like no delineation. It was literally in such good quality. I was able to enjoy the latest episode of One Piece by like 5 or 6 hours after it aired in Japan.
Yeah.
So if that was one of the benefits of most of these pirated sites, but now that that's being attacked so heavily, and not only that, if they can't do anything, they can't, like, if they can't operate their systems to actually maintain the sites and change things that probably there's a bug or something, there's no point in running it. Like it becomes too much more of a hassle. So most of these people would just start closing up shop.
Exactly.
And what really hurts is the fact that like these people, I don't believe, I could be wrong about this, but I believe most pirated sites didn't really have a form of ad revenue from it. Like I think literally most had just done, I don't even want to say through donations. I think this is all like basically like a project of love for most of these people. At least you could definitely say the same like that for like things like Kiss Anime and stuff, and how Crunchyroll used to be.
Oh yeah, Kiss Anime. I used to use Kiss Anime a lot back in my high school days.
I used to watch this.
Actually,
I remember the first.
It was actually my go-to for watching anime because fuck that shit. I'm not gonna pay like this for a month and this for a month.
Well,
'cause
when I
some
was
of-
younger, like, of course I couldn't. I didn't have a means to, like, do it. I didn't have a credit card or anything. So pirated sites was, like, the method I'd go to watch older cartoons I couldn't watch anymore.
Yeah, and not only that, but I remember like watching a lot of anime on my school's laptop.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, some of the things I used to do is, which is really funny, because, like, my school, like, they used to have, like,
It
an
was
actual,
fun.
like,
And it was only for like my freshman and sophomore years because it was running on Windows, but they had to like really change this to fucking Chromebooks. And then when
well, you
started
got to
using
remember, like,
Chromebooks-
most of those actual websites, the pirated sites, even though they were technically considered, like, unauthorized sites, like, most schools, like, because this is, like, back in, like, the early 2000s, most computers didn't have an actual, like, protective software to really detect that. So you could basically, like, if you knew how to do it, you could get away with almost anything, looking shit up on school computers.
That's what I'm saying, because my computers on my freshman and sophomore year, they were running on Windows, but when we got Chromebooks, we could not do absolutely shit about it.
Yeah, no. I remember the first computers I ever used in my home, like, my school science club or science class. I don't remember what the fuck it was called. The computer room, which was those big old Macintosh computers, the ones with the giant teal monitors. And then later,
the G3.
yeah, I think so. And then later, those got swapped out for Windows 90. I don't remember which Windows. They were compact computers after that. They went from Apple to compact.
Was it XP or 2000?
It was
or
XP.
98?
It was XP.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember XP from my elementary school years.
But yeah, no. So, the closure comes barely 2 months after the death of the high anime. Until recently, the largest pirated streaming destination of the planet, it marks the latest of the arguably loudest collapse in the year that had been gutted the unofficial anime ecosystem. For a community that grew up dominating, hopping between Zoro, Anime Watch, and oh my god, 9 Anime. High Anime. The question is whether Anime Kai will reappear under a new banner. It's whether anyone is left to rebuild it at all, which again is kind of the case. The official exploitation of the undisclosed third-party data center hosting Anime Kai fired in my god, infestation caught fire, taking the platform's ability to serve video with it. The timing of the fueled speculation and the incident linked to the recent Lone data center fire in the Netherlands. Literally, their systems caught fire.
Damn.
Yeah, the fucking shit literally caught up in a blaze, and that shit's not cheap to replace.
Nope.
Like currently Akko is talking about what they're doing with like building in their own actual dedicated servers, but like that's gonna be specifically only for like a few people, like to run an actual like server. Not only does it take up a lot of electricity, but one isn't just enough. Like think of how many like the actual like companies that run like dedicated servers for like Fortnite, for instance. They have like half of their company is pre-built just to handle those servers.
Yeah.
Now again, that's a game that's consistently being online and being used. So you can't really it's harder to compare something like that to just an anime site, but it's still there as an actual comparison to get an idea. What's clear is that the fire didn't kill healthy. What's clear is that the fire didn't kill any healthier site. It killed a stressed one. In the weeks of leading up to the shutdown, Anime Kai was already buckling after High Anime closed in March. Anime Kai inherited a flood of refugees almost overnight, and the infrastructure couldn't keep up. Yeah. Again, that makes sense. I didn't think they were all going to go to Anime Kai, honestly. There's a few other websites they could have gone to, so... I mean, I knew of Anime Kai, but I guess I just didn't know, like... to me, I never saw it.
Was.
Well, again, I there's a couple of pirate sites I knew about, and of course, as they brought up, the ones here specifically as they mentioned, I knew of 9 Anime, High Anime, and Anime Kai. I had actually never heard of Zoro or Anime Watch or Watch. Those two are new to me. But to me, this seems like every time one of these went down, the floodgates would kind of open, and like as they put it, the refugees would just go into the next more populated, like more well-known anime site. They either would probably look it up on Google, watch anime online free, and one of these sites would come up, or they would be in the know in like these Discord servers, and they would kind of like migrate, and someone would be like, "Oh, have you tried this site?" Like, again, I still use one of my sites, but it's not just anime. it also houses like cartoons and movies. The problem is now they're
I
starting.
think it was called. I think the one I used to go when used to watch a lot of old cartoons that I used to watch a lot as a kid. It was called Kiss Cartoon.
Yes, I know about Kiss. One of the first pirated sites I ever used ever was called watch.tv.org, I think. No, not org, something else. It was an old site. The actual UI was very simple. It was a plain white background with just their logo at the top left, and they just had a list. Like there was no tabs. It was literally just list of like this is action. Go down the list and find the one in alphabetical order you want. This is romance. Go down the list of what the fuck you want. Like that's all it was.
Yeah.
It was simple, but
Exactly.
it worked. And then they kept getting shut down like year after year, but they kept like just changing the name slightly. They went from like watch.tv to watch.tv co to watch.tv something else. I'm just getting into anime. Please don't tell me I'm screwed. Oh, hun. Unless you're going to be like going by one of the actual main providers like Hi Anime, Hulu, Crunchyroll, or Netflix, currently there's only so many now anime pirated websites. Like, it's not impossible to think more won't come up, but it's hard to think one because you have to remember one of the reasons why many of these websites are getting targeted now is because it's not just that they were popular; it's that they were popular outside of the anime ecosystem. As soon as people became aware of it, like in everyday like life, that's when and that's just gonna happen again. Like a new one's gonna come up, people are gonna go to it, like they did for Anime Kai here, and then people be like, oh look, they just basically told us where there's another one. Let's go destroy that one now, and it's just gonna keep happening. It's sad to say, but it will. Like I said, like Watch.tv, the site I used to, one of the first pirate sites I ever used it when I was younger. Like this is like back in like the early 2000s. They got hit like once a year, and they would go down. After about a week, they rebranded, kept everything the same, just changed the URL and fixated it, and then that's how they did. You guys ever use No, shh! I've been specifically not mentioning that one because that's the site I use currently. I don't want people to know about it. Everyone keep that on the download. No one go to that site. It doesn't exist.
Let's just pretend that.
No, it's people know about it. People are going to know about it, and I've noticed that people are going to know about it because in the past you could watch movies on there too, but now the movies are behind a. I don't think it's a paywall. It's called their premium service, which I haven't really looked into only because
Yeah,
I don't know what it.
I want to use the premium service because
Exactly. So, but I could still watch. The problem is
it's pretty scummy.
no. The problem is before I could just click on something and then watch it like nothing, right? But now every time I click on one thing, I get hit with like an immediate ad. So then I have to click out of the ad, and I got to click on the thing again. Then the thing takes me to where I want to go. Like let's say for instance I'm clicking on Avatar, The Last Airbender. I click on Avatar, The Last Airbender. I get an ad. I click out the ad. Go back. Click on Avatar. Okay, now I'm in the actual like seasons. I click on the season I want. Oh, here's another ad. I have to do that. I have to fight with the actual website now to actually get what I want. So it's just adding tedious work to it to the point where like I don't even want to use it now. And ad blocker doesn't work on it.
And that's the thing I hate about pirated sites is that do that because every single time when there's an ad popping up,
Why you gotta act this way, Eric? I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Anyways, continue.
Like I try every time I'm trying to click skip on the ad, it's gonna open a new tab to say, "Oh, you have won a free iPhone. You have won a free gift card."
Oh
this
my
and
God.
that." I'm like, no, just close the. No, I don't want this stuff. Just take me to the fucking episode.
I fucking miss. I sometimes kind of miss those ads where like it would just open up like on a separate browser and they say like, "Hey, did you hear about so and so?" And it's like, and again, I told you like one of the first viruses I ever got when I was a kid because I used to use LimeWire. Was I'm not sure if people still know about it, but it was the dancing naked girl. Like if anyone remembers her, it was literally a fucking it was a gift you got on your computer that basically wrote over all your files, and all there would be is just this dancing naked girl. it was like all pixelated and crappy too, so it wasn't even like good quality. But like I'm sure someone else out there remembers this. But like I remember when I was a kid, I like fucking freaked out because like my screen just had like this dancing negro in it. Whatever file you open out, aside from the browser would still work, but like everything else was shot. I remember the first time my brother came into my room and like I had to like go like, hey, so I did a thing and I need your help. He's like, what did you do? I'm like, so I was trying to download like the latest album from the Gorillaz. I don't remember what I was actually trying to download, but that's what I was trying to get. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I think I downloaded the wrong thing. I'm like, God damn it. So he walks over there and he clicks on it and he just sees the dancing naked girl and he's like, and my brother pulled out a reboot CD. He's like, do what you usually. I had to reboot my old compact at least once every few months. I had two separate CDs. I had a burned Windows XP on it. So when I rebooted my PC, I could put back the operating system back on there. And I had a file drive that had all my files backed up on it. Because how often I would get a fucking virus. It's what you did back in the day, you know? You got one of the shit, you don't want to pay for it, you gotta go on LimeWire. Or BitChute. No, not BitChute, BitTorrent, that's what it was called.
God.
I never used Napster. I heard about Napster, but I never used it.
Yeah, because it wasn't out there for long. Because of course Metallica is like, especially Lars. They were just super overprotective.
Well, I can understand the mentality of wanting to like get paid what you're due because people are just out there grabbing shit for free. I understand that.
Yes, but the issue is that Lars in nature is a pretty shitty person. Like.
Like, did he go completely scorched earth on, like, Napster?
Yeah. Yes. Like, a lot. And I think it's one of the reasons why the bassist at the time, Jason Newsted, left, because the band was just too focused on the Napster thing.
Gotcha. So he became so obsessive with it that it literally, at no pun intended, it stopped being about the music, and it was literally about the message.
Not the message, but all about the whole lawsuit thing.
Yeah, it's about sending a message.
Which is ironic too, because Napster is supposed to be like a website where you trade.
Oh my god!
Because 2 decades earlier, Metallica literally did that when they were first starting their band. They literally traded tapes, demo tapes.
Wait, what?
Because back then there was a tape trading scene to like demos of like listening to like early recordings of bands and stuff like that.
Right. So they would get early recordings of other bands to listen to them?
It was called a tape trading scene.
Right, but would they be trading their tapes as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I don't see kind of an issue with that. That's in the
Napster is basically the digital version of that.
Okay. Maybe I have to look into it one day. But anyways, just kind of go with what Eric says here. Getting those kinds of viruses felt like a rite of passage nowadays. It does, right? Like it's like you were there in the beginning of the internet. You got to see it blossom into what it is now. God, I remember when fucking Windows, the problem with piracy is that Gabe Newell said it's the service problem where it's hard to find the service that's good enough that consumers are willing to pay for. Exactly. And I can hear that point of view and I agree with it. And it's like when some people talk about like, oh, I can build a utopia with like, if I just have the right ideals, the right amount of money, the right amount of like, people to follow me and everything. I'm like, no, hon. Understand the fact that there is never going to be a perfect utopia. There's never going to be a perfect like business model. There's never going to be a perfect anything. You get what you get. And sometimes even if you get something that is, let's say 75% close to what you wanted, you're still probably going to go with another option that if it's free and available, it's there, right? Like if someone said, hey, I'm offering you the Switch 2 half the price right now. I'm like, oh shit, half the price? And the other guy was like, okay, hold up. I got the Switch 2 too. It's got a crack in it, and it's a little wobbly. The games will run, but like, they'll probably crush on you, but it's free. And it's like, I can still play it? Yeah, you can still play it. I think I'll take the free one. It's like, but that's not even the real PS2. I mean, the real Switch 2. It's like colored differently, and it's got like the wrong symbol in the back. You turn around, it's got like the symbol of fucking Sega, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like a Sega brand. That's weird, huh?
Yeah, you know what reminds me?
Oh my god, Sega brand Switch.
It reminds me of that one video I saw years ago of a bootleg Sonic Slippers, and then somebody just like flipped it over. It's Super Mario.
Oh my fucking god, I love the fucking knockoff brands of like you. Did you ever hear the story about like the Crash team developers of like going to Japan and like they knew they made it as like devs for their game for Crash when they went to Japan, and inside of a claw machine was a bootleg Crash Bandicoot. Like that's how the meme for the ugly Crash guy in the Crash Nitro games became, because they saw this like
Whoa, was it the Whoa meme?
no, the Woe meme was made by Oni Plays.
Oh,
No, I'll take here. Let me show you. How fuck am I spelling this? Brand Crash Plush. The fuck? Let's see. Japan. This thing right here. They saw this in a Japanese vending machine, and that's how they created this character as a joke character in their Crash game as like an Easter egg. You could play him in Nitro Kart games. You could see him in like dancing Crash's like iconic dance, but very shittily.
but it's in the remake, right?
I think they did meme on it in a remake, but yeah. So this is the actual bad like knockoff they saw in Japan, and then like the guy was like, you know what? The moment I saw that, I knew we made it, and the guy's like, yeah, you know what? We really did.
What's funny is it's funny because Crash has a different design. Well, not exactly a different design, but I'm not sure if it applies to the artwork.
Hold up. Crunchy used to be seen as a service that was worth the money. Yet all the actions they took in no, honestly, it's twofold. It's the people who have gotten into the industry now, and it's the fact that the merger that happened between them and Funimation. Because you have to remember, Funimation was the problematic side of the anime ecosystem, and Crunchyroll originally was a pirated site that just got some money backing to them and went official in like 2000 and I think it was 2020. I think it was actually 2020 or 2019. It's one of those that Crunchy. Actually, no, let me double check that now. When did Crunchyroll become? I was gonna say legit, but legal sounds right too. I was wrong about it. Yeah, Crunchyroll transitioned from a pirated legal streaming service site in 2009 after securing the proper license deals and anime studios and publishers. So yeah, so they basically got some backing. They went legit, and then they had the merger with Funimation. When did the Funimation merger with Crunchy? Yep. No, that was what? That didn't happen in 2024. You're fucking insane.
I think it was like 20.
Yeah, that happened much earlier. Copilot, you're fucking insane.
Culpa?
Copilot. That's the AI service that you use for Bing.
Yeah.
Yes, this is when Funimation Funimation shuts down permanently on April 2nd. It merges with Crunchyroll. Acquired by Sony in 2017, and yeah, it became official in 2021. I don't know why the fuck they said 2014. Copilot, what the hell is wrong with you? But yeah, as soon as that kind of happened, huh?
You said 2014. You said 2014. It's not 2014. It's 2024.
Sorry, 2024. Yeah, no. So it was official in 2021. You have to remember, Funimation was the place that had like people like Monarch Royale, Sam Schimmel, and all the rest of them who were, I don't want to say very openly, like, you know, left leaning, but like at the same time, that was the mindset they kind of worked into. Like again, you have to remember these are the same people who basically like went into trying to tear down Vic Mignogna because he was getting promotional, like he was not only becoming one of the biggest voice actors for them because of his roles like Edward Eric and of course like the new Broadway movies come out, but he was actually being offered a higher position in Funimation's team as a managerial position. They actually wanted him to become, I think, one of the lead managers overseeing the VAs. And this is just me speculating off the information I had way back then. It's my memory on everything that happened with him is fuzzy. I would have to go back and like look at it again. But from what I remember, I'm still calling bullshit on half the shit that they accused them doing. Like the actual evidence is kind of like circumstantial at best. But yeah, so these people, and then the amount of arguments these people will get online with people, individuals over that whole issue that happened, and then the localizer would change so much that was happening in house studios for like dialogue. Again, go back to interspecies reviewers, like they actively like shot themselves in the foot by getting rid of that because like people were really looking forward to seeing that be completely translated, and then Funimation halfway through like the production of it was like, nope, we're putting a stop to this. Why? Oh, it's very degenerate. It's disgusting. We don't want this on our platform. And it's like, wow, you guys are fucking assholes, dude. But
Yeah, I remember when that anime came out.
no, the anime was great. It was hysterical.
It was, but I'm saying when that shit blew up, I remember they said they just pulled it off because it was just too raunchy for them.
One, the actual people doing the localization didn't want to actually translate anymore because they thought it was too. They thought it was too depraved and degenerate. Then you had.
Why did they just do it in the first place
Well,
if they knew what they were doing?
Because literally what happened, because you had two factors. You probably had one, the actual people who were in charge of like signing the deals away to having these animes be brought over to so this way they can get like translations and English dubs. This you got to remember, it's not just like, oh look, A1 Productions just made the next season of Solo Leveling. I'm gonna sign in this contract so we get Solo Leveling. No, they get a package deal. Meaning you're signing on to take on 10 animes from this production company for the foreseeable future. That's how it's kind of go. That's how typically most of these things work in the business. Like when you're greenlining someone's show, typically you're not just greenlining one person's show. You're greenlining several projects and ideas that's coming from them. That's how Disney has been working with like so many of the same people. That's why every time you see Disney make a new Marvel movie or Star Wars production or like any of their cartoons, you usually see the same people who worked on it because you're not just hiring them for one show. You're hiring them for production on several shows.
I wonder now they started to become so fucking bland and boring.
It's kind of how it is, and usually you have to. It's like kind of almost the same thing how a teacher has tenure, but in this sense you have tenure for like an X amount of time, and mostly in the actual media business that contract lasts only so long, and after everything is all said and done, that's when they evaluate, did we get our money's worth for this person, from this individual? And at that point, if they didn't, they just say, okay, well, thanks for working for us. The door's right there. Well, that's why you usually see those people work in the industry for like so many years, and then out of nowhere, they just disappear on you. And it's been like, well, yeah, because they sucked. Like, they only had to work for them for so long.
It's kind of like what happened with Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider was a whole different story. Dan Schneider did have contract deals with Nickelodeon. The problem was, I believe his shit ended abruptly because of the fact that it was found out of all the crazy shit he was involved in.
Yeah, but that was like before people like started like digging into that. I think the reason why they fired him was because his show it just kept getting low.
Yes and no. If I remember correctly,
because his last show was Game Shakers, and that did not do well at all.
It was what? So, what was it called?
Game Shakers.
Game Shakers?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
It's a sitcom, like how Snyder always did it.
Game Shakers. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think there's a reason why.
Game Shakers is an American comedy television series created by Dan Schneider that premiered on Nickelodeon September 12th, 2015. The series ran for 3 seasons, with its final episode airing in June 8th, 2019. The premise is the series revolves around 2 7th graders, Babe and Kenzie, living in Brooklyn, New York, who create video game app called Skywell for his school's science project. When the game proves it's wildly successfully, they form a gaming company called Game Shake. What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
What is this load of horseshit?
I think you can see why Nickelodeon decided to pull the plug off.
They formed a game company called Game Shakes that hired their friend Hudson, later partner with rapper Double G, who becomes the investor and part of the company. Oh my god. Dan Schneider is a fucking lunatic. I shit you not.
Yeah, especially the name. It kind of reveals what kind of person he truly is.
Wait, we're Game Shakers?
No, the names of the characters.
Oh, okay, let's see. What are the names? So you have Babe Chrono, you have Kenzie Bell, Triple G, son of Double G, Hudson, and then you have Double G. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Okay. Yeah, this probably was horrendous. I can't. Oh my god, are these the actual actors? Oh, Jesus Christ. What happened to kid actors, man? Like.
Yeah, that's the
Why,
reason
why can't we get another Drake and Josh?
I don't. Actually, that's not a good idea because they rebooted iCarly and that didn't even last.
No, literally, it's all like. I want to say it's literally again part of what I was saying about like the Greenlit project. You remember you had all that, which gave way to Kenan and Kel, which gave way to the Amanda Show, which gave way to Drake and Josh.
Burger, by the way.
Huh?
Good Burger. I love Good Burger, by the way. Really, really, really good film. Really funny.
Pat's for you. Pat for you.
I just love that movie. I just love Good Burger.
I will say, when I was a kid, I was in love with Good Burger too. I was obsessed with that skit from all that, and when that movie came out, I begged my mom to take me to go see it. My brother had to see.
I just really love. I just find the catchy line.
I'm a
Hello,
dude.
welcome to Good.
He's that line.
Yeah, hello, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. How may I take your order?
No, I always loved just the I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. Whoa, dudes,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a dude. It's just like fucking like literally. And then like the dude sleeps in his Good Burger uniform. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Also, Sinbad was the fucking teacher. I love that line he delivered. Like, no, I hate to do this to her brother, but like I have to. And he's like, I gotta call the cops. He's like, no, please. He's like, I love the fact that literally like he's begging like I'm gonna need your license registration, Keenan, and he's like, well, here's the issue, sir. You see, I don't have any of those. He's like, you didn't bring them? He's like, no, see, I'm too young to drive. I'm only 14. And he's like, it's Sinbad is one of those actors that like is so over the top. He's just enjoyable to watch. Like if you ever, one of my favorite movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, is literally Jingle All the Way. They are perfect in that film. It is great. I love Jingle All the Way. It is a holiday movie I watch every year.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I used to watch it every year.
It is just so ridiculously funny.
Yeah, I forgot to mention in Good Burger, I actually really given I'm a car guy myself, I really loved the fucking modified AMC Pacer that they were driving in. It was literally a burger. I know it was AMC Pacer just by the body, but the front part they just added the fucking burger.
Gotcha.
I thought that was funny.
So, yeah, this is basically sad, kind of like, you know, we got another pirated site going down. It's how it is. It's gonna continue happening, and anytime there's gonna be another one that comes along, goated holiday. Yep, 100%. It's one of the best holiday films ever. I recommend it to everyone I ever talk about. It's like, hey, what do you want to watch this year for Christmas? I'm like, Jingle All the Way. Like everyone's like saying like A Christmas Story. No, fucking what is that? Home Alone. I'm like, fuck that shit. Let's watch Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger gets to a fucking gang fight with a bunch of Santa Clauses. It's amazing.
Yeah. What
Um,
is my other favorite Christmas?
but yeah, moving on to the
I,
next topic. We got actually a few
Yeah.
here, but first one is, let's see, where is it? Actually, go to the. Oh, here it is. So this is pretty interesting. What the fuck is it? Oh, so okay. Out of nowhere, we're seeing a lot more mainstream publications talk about anime. And this is the Wall Street Journal, a place I never thought in a million years would talk about this, but they have. And I came to my attention this because people are telling me like, "Oh, this is so bad, this is so crazy." But then when you ask them, "Oh, what does it say?" people keep telling me, "Oh, I don't know, I couldn't read the article because there's a paywall." So people can only see like this is what you do. So I actually went to the website,
You know-
right? This is the
You know
article.
what reminds me? You know what this reminds me of when
What's
this
up?
shit happens on major. You know what this reminds me on when it happens to major news publications.
What?
It reminds me of. It reminds me of those like newspaper dispensers. Like pull it out and it's like, and until you realize it's like, oh, you gotta put a quarter in to open it.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's funny enough. At my work, like we actually have stacks of newspaper for like my our local news that's out there on a stand. The problem is you're supposed to grab one of those papers, scan the barcode like with it, and like pay for it. But people, because where it's placed, like right by the door, they think it's free, so they just take one as they go. So every day you see these old people just steal newspapers, but because it's like only like still 50 cents for a paper, my job just doesn't give a shit.
This is like the equivalent of fucking pay toilets or pay bathrooms. It's all bullshit.
You have to buy something to use the bathroom. Okay, I'll buy this stick of gum. Gum's 15 cents. Oh, come on, dude.
It's like, no, like, if I gotta go take a shit, I gotta go take a shit. I don't got time to pay for shit.
I hate the restrooms that are literally.
And I hate it when it's like that in Mexico too. I'm like, damn, are they
Oh.
this fucking poor, dude? I want 15 pesos, or I want 5 pesos for it. I'm like, I don't care how much peso you guys want, just let me take a shit.
I remember there was like a guy who was like outside the bathrooms from like this Mexican like gas station. His job was literally just to take the money and then open the door for you. That's all his job was. So he'd be standing right next to the shitters and literally be like 10 pesos. I'm like, okay, here. And he'd like unlock the door. He's like, there you go. And he let you in. They literally had a doorman for the fucking bathrooms.
And not only that, but when I was in the beach in Mexico, I was just like watching like all the scenes, like, wow, why is there so many fucking paying bathrooms?
No, they still have gas
5
station
pesos.
attendants in Mexico's.
It's like 5 pesos, 10 pesos, 15 pesos, all that other bullshit.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
like,
to be
bro,
fair,
I'm like, this is the fucking beach, dude.
no, like literally, I remember the one time I went to the
Like-
beach in like Mexico,
'Cause I
like they
remember-
had like 20 guys like corralling like fucking seagulls to like food on the ground, all having like those little like little like holders for like their stuff. Like, hello, estoy vendiendo zapatos para 5 pesos. ¿Quién quiere peso? ¿Quién tiene zapatos? Aquí tengo flores, flores, flores para ti, flores, flores, flores. Just like literally advertising, like here we got some the new toys, the new latest creations, only 5 pesos. Like all walking around corralling you. And if you showed a mild interest to anything they were selling, the rest of them would just corral you. It was it was funny as hell.
They try to get you engaged with it. That's how it is.
It's yeah,
But
no.
yeah, it was funny because I was literally driving on like a fucking off-road dune buggy, right?
Uh-huh.
I was just like just traveling all the other side of the fucking beach. And
Just relaxing with your relaxing shades on.
Because I was like next to my cousin, and then I looked at it, and I just looked at my cousin just with a very confused face. I'm like, why?
No, it is worse than other.
Why?
It is worse. Like
it's like I tell him I get it that Mexico tends to be a lot poorer compared to U.S. But I'm like,
no,
you have to
hun,
be this
no,
fucking
you don't understand. Like it's not just the Mexico thing. Like we went, I went on a cruise with my friend's family one year, and we went to I don't remember the actual country, like what island it was, but it was technically within the district of this country. And as soon as we made land to go do some sightseeing,
Or
huh?
was it Costa Rica or
It might have been Costa Rica. So we were there, right? And this guy like was there, like, you know, running around. I don't know what he was doing, but out of nowhere, like his monkey ran off and like jumped on my friend's shoulder. He's like,
Oh my
ha
God,
ha ha,
monkeys,
and he took a
dude.
photo very
It's
quickly.
always fun.
And my
First
friend's
one
like, whoa, 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 what happened? I'm like, oh, it's a monkey. And the guy took a photo, and like, he's like, yeah, it's great, right? Monkey. And he's like, what do you shake the monkey's hand? And like, we shake the monkey's hand. He's it, and he pats his shoulder, and the monkey comes back, and he looks at my friend's dad. He's like, $50. My friend's dad looked shocked, like as though he just told him, like, give me your money, or like he literally just was robbing him. That's how you felt, like he was being robbed. I was baffled. I was like, wait, but one, we didn't ask for a photo, and two, we didn't tell your monkey to come over here. Your monkey just was like $50, and it's like,
it just gives me this vibe of the whole whenever you're like in a area which is like a shitload of monkeys and you place your purse there, a monkey just grabs it and goes, yoink.
well, no, I mean, those guys, those little bastards are like that. Like they do, like they're like birds in a sense. Like typically, animals will get into your stuff if you're not careful, and they will find something of interest to them, and they'll go fuck with it.
Yeah, but it is just really funny.
But no, anyways, back to this. So again, in the Washington Journal, like you'll be able to see the article up until this point, and then people are like, yeah, I read that much. I'm like, so you don't actually know what's in the article then? It's like, you can kind of make a educated guess based on this. So we're gonna start off with this. Hollywood's hottest business is now once niche anime. Sony's Crunchyroll increases subscribe.
Anime's not even from Hollywood.
You're here what they're saying. Sony's Crunchyroll increases subscribers base nearly 25% in the past year. This kind of goes back to what I mean when I was talking about how some people just can't be bothered to read articles. Audiences seek entertainment and stands apart from the typical flair.
Like tourist shit right here. This is some tourist shit.
So, a balloon of Monkey D. Luffy, a character from One Piece, at the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade last year. The pirate fantasy series is one of the Crunchyroll's biggest hits. After decades on the fringes of pop culture in the West, anime has become one of Hollywood's hottest businesses. Pause. Hard to read the rest, right? Everyone's like, yeah, I can already tell this is going to be shit, and they've already made up their mind. I agree. Already starting off, this sounds like shit. However, you guys really need to read the article. But they have a paywall. Here's the brilliant thing about when you look up information. Why I tell people it's not that hard to look up information. All I had to do was take the headline, put it into Bing or Google, and I found the exact fucking article on another free site. This is verbatim the same exact fucking article.
Marvelous.
Yeah, so I have the whole article here, and I was actually reading some of it, and I was like, oh my god, I have to read this on the actual stream. So, okay, it says, Crunchyroll's largest streaming service depicted the Japanese animation known as anime. Boosted its subscribers by nearly 25% in the past year to 21 million. Parent company Sony said Friday subscriber growth is at bigger Hollywood streaming service has largely plateaued to the past year, and some have stopped disclosing numbers. In the U.S., 22% of people watch anime series like Jujutsu Kaisen, Hell's Paradise last year compared with the 10% of 2020. Japanese researchers from Firm Gem Partners found Americans steamed 4.4 billion minutes of content on Crunchyroll in January, compared to the 2.1 billion the same time month in 2024, according to the Nielsen ratings. Major entertainment companies are racing to add anime to their streaming services in hopes of attracting young audience seeking something very different than the traditional offerings of American studios. And here it says, what we hear from fans is that their stories are unique, the characters are relatable, and that they don't get these themes offered from forms of entertainment, said Rachel Perlman from Crunchyroll's president. Now, I'm going to stop right there, because here are some key factors of this whole argument. The reason why I think this article is very interesting to go over, and why I also think like it's important to like really discuss this type of stuff, is because, again, as you see in the wording, it says Hollywood hottest business, and the reason why the
Oh my god, that's it. Every time when I hear that, it just gives you a good chuckle.
Well, the reason why they bring it up and they word it that way is because why it's considered Hollywood's hottest business is for twofold. One, because these are American companies, technically, that are.
But that doesn't change the fact.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But this is why the wording is the way it's worded. It's because, one, American companies are working together with Japanese companies to bring these overs via, for lack of a better term, like porting them over from Japan. Well, I guess that's a perfect term to say. Porting them over from Japan over to the United States and dubbing them or translating them so they can be enjoyed by the masses here. And two, as this article has stated, and as people have been doing, American companies are getting invested into anime, not only through the means of outside of companies that are usually not have ever dealt with anime by streaming them on their platforms or showing them on their channels, but of actually investing into Japanese companies and looking into investing into and companies like A1 Productions, like Mappa Studios, and all the rest of these. So this way, they then get a stake in the actual investment. Well, you have to remember, as they just stated here, why is one of the reasons why people are transitioning to anime? As the article states, what we hear from our fans is that that the stories are unique, the characters are relatable, and they don't get to these themes in other forms of entertainment. That's what she's hearing, quote unquote. What in actuality means is, yeah, their stories aren't shit, and they're not clouded with all this other fucking bullshit that you guys have been putting in Hollywood for the past decade. The very things you've been ruining.
Netflix adaptation means Netflix adaptation.
Exactly. Like, you can point to Netflix itself and look at half the shit they've done over the course of, like, again, 5 years.
Fucking Dragon Ball Evolution.
This is why this is important to talk about, because again, these people want to invest more, but they want to be a part of. They don't. Not only do they want to be. Not only do they want a slice of the pie, but they want to be in the kitchen helping bake it.
But it doesn't make any sense. Didn't it just go look at the past failures, like I mentioned, Speed Racer and Dragon Ball Evolution?
Hun, I'm gonna ask you this honestly. When have you ever seen Hollywood take accountability for any of the things they've done?
I mean, they did it with Sonic.
No. One, that was a indie studio in Canada. Two, that's an exception. People were shocked the fact that company not only listened to the fans, but then went in to change a lot of the things they had done for the story and for the character, and then people ran to it and flopped. I actually had hoped, like, actual studios here in America would have learned from that. But no, they actually fucked up harder. You know, if you actually listen to the fans sometimes, maybe you actually might get a pretty decent product. But anyways.
Yeah, I think you're right on this one.
So again, look at Disney. Disney's a great example. Disney never, ever even thought of anime being a thing. It wasn't until it became more and more popular and they started seeing the fact that manga was overtaking their own sales in comics. Marvel and DC were being beaten here in the West by manga. A Japanese... What's that?
But then again, didn't Studio Trigger meet a Star Wars anime?
Well, again, I'm not saying these companies had never worked with other companies before outside of the States, but they never really... Like, when have you... Before... You know, the niche like card games and small like tabletop-esque games that like Fox Kids and like Warner Brothers to show, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Metabots and things like that. Outside of UPM4 showing Dragon Ball Z, OSHA showing that, taking on Sailor Moon, maybe, and then of course Toonami doing their stuff. Outside of those few studios, but that's what I'm saying. But Jetix was Fox originally. But outside of those specific niche animes that came to the West, and I'm not using niche in a very like in a derogatory term. I mean specifically out of like thousands of animes that were created at that time, only a handful will be picked and brought over here, because the studio, like from that of Crunchyroll and Warner Brothers, would take a chance. Like that of WB, would be like, hey, a card game, this might be interested to kids. Same with Fox. Hey, look, little robots that fight each other. This might be interested to kids. Outside of that, and then 4Kids too. You know, they did the same thing. Mew Mew, Ultimate Muscle, One Piece originally for them. They took specific animes and said this could be gone toward kids. But now Disney has come in after years of basing, not even remotely thinking this as an actual possibility for like for money in their sense to make money. Have come in. They have Bleach, They have Bleach in there. They have Shippuden on there. Naruto. They're getting Boruto on there now too, I believe. They have several animes they've actually show in house on Disney Channel and on Hulu. They're starting to get exclusive animes that only they have.
Yeah.
Again, Netflix started into the anime game like 10 years ago, 10 or so years ago. So did Tubi. Tubi was once the head of Fox. Like the guy who's the head of Tubi, that owner, he was the head of Fox. When he sold Fox to Disney, he took that money and invested it into Tubi, a small niche free streaming platform that didn't really have many users, but he saw potential in it, and then he thought, hey, you know, it'd be really good if I started asking more and more people to if I started asking outside of like the United States for entertainment. And what he saw was anime. That's why if you go to Tubi, you see a lot of old anime from like the 2000s and like early 2000s, 1990s on there.
I remember I used to watch a lot of anime from Tubi too.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of anime from Tubi too as well. Because that guy literally saw that guy I fucking like wish would be able to do more with Tubi than he's doing right now. I want him to make it into something bigger because I would love to have some sort of like competitor to the Crunchyroll, but I don't know where he is right now and what he's doing like comparatively.
Yeah,
Let's hopefully something
the
happens.
one I remember watching fondly was Valkyria Drive. Valkyrie, I don't know how you pronounce it.
He had Bastard on there for a while, and I fucking loved it. Now Bastard's not on anything. You can't watch Bastard on fucking anything. Not Bastard. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Claymore. Claymore has been taken away from every streaming platform, and I don't know why. I need to actually investigate why that happened, because Claymore's not on Hulu anymore. Claymore was once on Netflix way back when. They got rid of it. And then Claymore was on Hulu. They got rid of it after a while. Now, Claymore was on Tubi for a while, but now Tubi doesn't have the rights to Claymore to air it as well. So Claymore has no actual home, which is really weird. I need to look if you can actually buy... I think they may have made a DVD, but I don't know. But you know, so like more and more... I even forgot to mention Amazon. Amazon's doing things in anime as well.
Yep.
And it's not even just the fact that anime. They're looking into doing more series that are like in reference or kind of like use anime as like kind of a schematic for their own series. What's this? How did Disney help make Kingdom Hearts and not think this Japanese? Because again, you have to remember different executives, different managers think of different things. That came from the game side of the aisle.
Yeah.
Disney has never been
it did.
hands on with a lot of that stuff. They typically say.
It just got the permission from Disney, and that was it.
Typically how, for instance, like Studio Ghibli, right? So Studio Ghibli is well known to work a lot with Disney, and Disney uses a lot of their in-home house animators to help
Yeah.
out Studio Ghibli.
Didn't they do the anime for Stitch?
Yes. Wait, no. That was all Disney.
Oh, I thought Studio Ghibli.
No, I think if I remember correctly, a lot of the action. Funny enough, if I remember correctly, in Stitch, Lilo and Stitch, a lot of those animators wanted to do specific creative things for Lilo and Stitch, like for instance the waves, and they had to relearn old processes that they used to use for like the early 70s and 80s of animation to do it specifically for that. Like these are all. These
I
are.
wasn't talking about Lilo and Stitch. I'm just talking about like the Stitch anime.
This is Stitch anime?
Yeah, it does not start Lilo. It starts like a new character.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, there's like a Stitch anime.
Quit fucking with my head today. Jesus Christ, there's a Stitch anime?
But I'm not sure if it was made by Studio Ghibli or I don't know. I think that's when they introduced Stitch's girlfriend.
Anime. What girlfriend?
That pink one.
That's his cousin.
I thought it was his girlfriend.
I mean, tactically, it's Jumba made 664 experiments. Technically, they're not related, but they all see themselves as related and cause each other cousins and shit. You gotta watch the TV show. Stitch is a Japanese television series. It's a spin-off of Disney's Lilo and Stitch, serving the franchise as the second television series of Lilo and Stitch series. Wait, this is a continuation of Stitch? Of Lilo and Stitch? How the
Yeah.
fuck did I not hear about this? What? The first arc of the series of service, the first season of Outside Japan, was produced by Madhouse Studio?
Oh shit.
What the fuck? Madhouse did this? Can I assume it was good then? At least animation wise. Stitch anime. Oh god.
No, that's the first one.
What the fuck? What is Shin Sham doing there? What the hell?
Yeah, it does not start.
Tell me this doesn't look like Shin Sham. Do you know who Shin Chan is?
I mean, I haven't watched Lilo and Stitch in a long ass time.
No, but Shin Chan, the old anime Shin Chan.
Crayon. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one. That one.
No, not
That's-
shopping, not
that's
shopping.
That's why I say Shishan Crayon. That's why I said Crayon.
Oh, you said crayon? No, I always refer to Shin Chan because that's how it was called in the States.
Yeah.
The fuck?
There's quite a lot of toilet humor.
Oh, what the kid literally fucking pulls his pants down like every episode and starts shaking his ass cheeks. Yeah, like he has a bare ass Godzilla doll he walks around with. It is hysterically like crazy. This has a 4.6 on ITM. I didn't even see that. What was I talking about? You've gotten me so fucked up now. I'm like confused.
I feel like it's like fucking Ren and Stimpy though.
No, I would not. I would not put those two together in comparison. Ren and Stimpy is its own beast altogether. Like that series is literally what would happen if we made a horse and a broom talk and then put the Ren and Stimpy together. And there was no consistency of what would happen. Like literally every scenario was different. There was a fucking episode when Ren made a I think it was like cheese. I don't remember what kind of creature it was, but it was the story of Pinocchio. But instead of being made out of wood, he was like owned like some sort of cheese shop, and he made a Pinocchio out of cheese, of like constantly melting cheese. That was a story. You also had a story whenever Ren's like cousin came from like the old country and started to destroy his home, and like he got really mad. You had a story where they actually went in the pound, and they got sold off. There was no consistency or through line. It was literally
that one scene where this dude is like literally using a cheese grater and literally just literally graving his own arm or leg
yes.
to see if it will heal.
No, there was a constant amount of jokes like that. There was like there was a
dark humor.
yeah. It was very crazy joke. What was one of the ones? There was a joke whenever literally like Ren to saw a log was like sawing it over over Stimpy's ass, and it was implying that he was basically like fucking him.
Oh, that was from Adult Party cartoon.
But it's still the same concept. Like many of these jokes are not like different from one another. There was
but that's definitely something that Nickelodeon would never allow. Though.
Well, right, but I'm saying like most of those jokes in the adult party were basically not so different than the actual series. Like, do you remember the?
I agree.
Do you remember the implication with the horse in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
That was the actual Nickelodeon series.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit. But no, anyways, fuck again. You've derailed me so much. I completely forgot what kind of tangent was going on. But yeah, to kind of like finish up the article, total spending of anime entertainment and merchandise in the North America project has grown by 5.19 billion this year and 4.38 billion in 2025, according to the Precision Research. It's one of the numerous once niche. Again, they keep like saying this. It's one of the numerous once niche segments of global entertainment that has become robust business in America. For F1 racing, from video games to K-pop music, as a big name film franchise and broadcast TV networks fade into relevance, enthusiastic fan communities become more one of the most valuable currencies in Hollywood. And again, this entire article is just speaking about how the fact that like, oh, Hollywood's become irrelevant. So what they should do is they should get in now with anime so they can bring back all they can start bringing up new revenue. But see, here's the big kicker. No one wants that. No one wants companies like Disney. No one wants companies like Comcast. No one wants companies like Verizon or any of those or fucking
Warner no, not Warner Bros. What was the other one? Fucking Universal.
No, I don't want Universal. I don't want like the newly fucking like made Warner Brothers. Like I don't care that they're being picked up by Paramount. Whatever. I don't want any of those guys to try to get in bed with anime because they're just gonna fuck it up like they always do.
Yeah,
Because they
they'll
haven't
go
actually
with the Western-
learned.
They go to a different creative direction in a Western lens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They haven't actually learned why those why they themselves are failing currently and why they cannot bring back their viewers. Like again, one of the best examples I can give as to why Hollywood has been failing for years is look at all the Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, the Oscars, all of them. All these fucking award shows
seem
of
to
these
be
fucking
very
celebrities
biased. They
patting
always seem
themselves
to
on
be
the
very
back,
biased.
fucking stroking their dicks and their egos, just so they can get a little fucking trophy. The last one pulled in, I think, like 1 billion or some shit like that. They are losing so many they are losing so many eyes watching them every year after year. The number keeps going, gets lower and lower and lower. And then you even have actors.
I feel like a lot of these award shows serve nothing but like fucking activism cult.
But like, look another evidence I give is look at how many actual companies have either is shut down or been bought out by larger companies that just have the actual extra amount of income to do it. So again, Disney has been hurting right now. They're trying to make Doomsday work for so they can set up for a whole new like reboot of the series. They're putting so much money into making Doomsday work. Currently, the projection is that they have spent 400 billion on just this film alone.
Yeah.
That means they need to pull in, like, at minimum, 600 to 700 billion back in revenue.
Yeah, it's almost like Disney just can't come up with anything new. There's a reason why.
Well, no one can come up with anything new. Look at the actual bastardization they have done in so many of actual legacy media. Like, can you look at Predator, Alien, Terminator, fucking Star Wars? Just go to any of our old like series we used to once hold in near dear to our hearts and think back on it.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, you get hell right now. Lord of the Rings, like fucking Stephen Colbert is gonna be working on the next fucking movie. I don't care how much of a fucking like Lord of the Rings fans people keep telling me is. That man can't write for shit.
Exactly. Oh my god, Rings of Power was a fucking disaster.
I mean, that wasn't him, but still, yeah. Like it is a travesty what they've done to our legacy media when it comes to like all these old gods and IPs. But at the same time, like they're not learning from it.
Not only that, but Disney just keeps making remakes. I'm like, no,
But that's what I'm saying.
bro.
Like literally, look at the last few years and actually point to like a new IP that broke. I can think of a few. I can think of a few actual IPs, like brand new IPs that like did something worthwhile that actually got people talking. And I can say a few animated films that I think were actually worth the watch. The sad part is, I'm getting tired of the fact that even DreamWorks, a company I used to hold very near and dear to my heart for making some of the best quality animated series, have been remaking their series in live action for some fucking weird reason. I don't know why. But anyways,
What do you think of Shrek 5?
I have no hope for it. Like honestly, like one, I wasn't the big fan of Shrek 3 sucked. I just seen Shrek 4 recently. I never saw it before in my life because how bad Shrek 3 was. I thought it was, I don't even want to say decent. It was at least better than Shrek 3. But the fact of the matter is, since literally they had to go in and rewrite everything because people were able to guess what the actual story was going to be about, is really telling where their mindset is for writing this. I will say, I thought Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was phenomenal. That movie was absolutely amazing. Not only was it stellar animation, great voice acting, and beautiful scores, but the actual both the story, the messaging, and the characters were top notch. Probably one of the best things I've seen in a while for animation, here in the West at least. It was great, hands down. If they can bring in the same team that helped work on that, do that with Shrek 5, there might be a chance.
Yeah, not gonna lie. Cars and Shrek 3 were like the earliest memories as a kid because those movies were the ones I seen in theaters.
I mean, I saw Cars in theaters, and honestly, Cars wasn't bad. I think Cars is an okay movie. I think it was a strong, like, it was a simple story by the numbers, but at the same time, what it did well, it did well. It didn't try to trample on its toes or anything. It was okay. It was a pretty good film.
Yeah, sorry, Yellow, but Cars was really my fucking shit.
No, I like
I
Cars
don't
1.
care.
I like Cars 1.
Cars 2 was awful.
Oh yeah, Cars 2 was awful. Like, there's no doubt about that.
But Cars 3 felt like a true sequel to the first.
I definitely had my problems with Cars 3, but I understand what the message they were going for. But I thought Cars 3 was okay. I thought it was a decent ending to the series.
Yeah, honestly, Cars was like one of those movies that definitely got me into old cars.
But yeah, so essentially, this article is just basically talking about how the fact that, like, more companies should expand themselves to supporting and basically profiteering from anime, and they should look into, like, doing more stuff like it. And honestly, I do not want that. I don't want that. I don't think anyone in the actual industry of who's in the anime community wants that, because again, these guys are the same people who fucked up their own series, their own IPs, their own fucking, like, shows and characters. I don't want them to ruin ours.
Yeah, because they can't write.
Well, it's not that just they can't write; they can't hire people to write. But yeah.
Yeah. They just can't. They hire people who rather just write a activist message than actually writing something good.
Is that, like, again, like, a great example for me right now is it's not even the fact that they have to take in something to, like, work with. It's the fact that what they would have to do if they do get into this, right, is, let's say for instance these guys, let's say for instance a company like Disney starts investing more. You know for a fact they're gonna want to put their hand in the ring and actually, like, put in their own actual people to work on it as well. Like, hiring their own localizers, their own, like, studio to actually work on this stuff and to try to translate it. And they're going to be like, hey, you know what would be really good? Maybe kids don't actually understand half of the stuff these characters are saying. Why don't we change up the wording a bit? So this way it's a lot easier for our audience to understand.
Yeah.
But this is going to be kind of something quick. I really wanted to talk about it, though, because I think it was really funny and interesting. The writer...
That title. That's quite the title, though.
What? What? Oh, the one we had. So, the author Mosuko Tensei came out, and I don't know what prompted this, but he came out and he made a post on X. It says here, just because adding sexual or romantic descriptions improves a work, it doesn't mean that it's always true, but not including them can sometimes leave a feeling a bit lacking. It'd be ideal to include just the right amount, but since what's considered enough varies from by reader to reader, it's practically impossible. That's why authors should just go with the amount that they think is best, right? And quotation splash splash. So he comes out and he prompts that. Immediately gets a load of people viewing him and commenting. And the reason why I want to bring this up is not just because of this context here for what he has here written about, like, sexual romantic descriptions. It's going into what this guy says back. I agree. The ending of My Hero Academia would have been way better if Deku and Uraraka got together and had a proper side story towards their budding romance. Not having a romance just made the entire build-up between them since the start of the story feel cheap and worthless. And he responds with, I mean, I read through the original manga My Hero Academia around the last year, but saying that it's absolutely nothing is an overstatement. There were plenty of scenes where there was enough to understand what they were drawn to each other. I might be better to rephrase it, and if it wasn't, rephrase it as it wasn't enough for me personally. And here's where the conversation really starts. And it's a nice, genuine conversation that he has with both him and a few others in this entire, like, conversation. No one's really coming in hostile, and I'm not trying to either. My biggest problem with this, and my gripe with, is this understanding is, it's what enough for me personally I have a problem with.
Yeah, you keep replying.
So it's not even like a problem I have. It's the idea that like how it goes for like story structures. So I agree with this guy right here in the sense of like not having any romance just made the entire build up between them since the start feel a bit cheap and worthless. And by that he means is right around season I think it was 3 is when Uraraka started balling up her feelings and started focusing more on becoming a professional hero, which is fine. It's good for a character. But if you're gonna then transition that over nearing the end of the series of her kind of falling in love with Deku and like kind of like wanting to be with him, a la like how the manga wrote it, then that leaves a lot of space between the two characters and how their interactions go. Most of their interactions at that point stop being very shyly romantic to each other. I would even argue like as friendly and started focusing more on the seriousness of what's happening around them. And even when it's not too serious, there aren't too many scenes between Uraka and Deku that take place. So it's like if you want these two to be together, you kind of need those moments, those shared moments of seeing these two characters talk with one another, interact with one another, do stuff. And again, he brings up the manga, and I agree. There are sometimes things we adapt when adapting a series we have to cut out for the anime. The difference is, I would argue there's not a huge amount that's cut from the manga towards the anime, and even then, even if we make the argument that like, okay, content was cut from the manga to the anime. At that point, then it's up to the actual creator to be able to be able to use his skills and transition scenes or make it so this way it's much more clear so this way you can see these two characters get together. Like people want to people oftentimes use an argument of adaptation being either A, one for one, or B, using it as an explainer towards something. For instance, there's always the example I like to give. Back when people used to argue all the time about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, right? There was a lot of problems that film had, and I agree with like I think every last criticism that movie has. However, some of the points people used to use to counteract the points you'd make to criticize the film were as followed: Rey never received any training. Why was she so good? Oh, there's a book that explains that. And I would always tell those people, pause. What does it matter if there's a book that explains that? The movies didn't explain that. Right, but you're asking for an explanation of how she learned. I'm like, no, I'm asking for an explanation in the movies to explain that. You can't use an outside source to explain away a continuity in a film. Because those are two different mediums. It's the same way how they used the explanation of why the Emperor came back in the third film via fucking Fortnite. It doesn't make sense. You didn't hear about that?
No.
So
I didn't even...
during the last episode, the Rise of the Skywalker, Fortnite had a special event that literally had Emperor Palpatine had a secret message to deliver if you found the Easter egg, and he would basically describe like his plan to basically send out his warships or whatever into the stars to like take over again.
Yeah, that sounds lousy.
And people would use that as evidence of like, oh, see, we knew Palpatine was coming back. And I'm like, again, you cannot use outside information to explain away a problem that a film has. The same way you can't use information from a manga to explain how an anime should have gone. Regardless of the fact, these are technically two different mediums. And by that standard, technically two different stories. If you're going to adapt something, you have to make sure you do it either in a way that one of the best adaptations I go with is The Lord of the Rings, made by Peter Jackson's. There are things in the books he could not bring over. They just wouldn't translate well, or there are things he felt like wouldn't have actually added to the scenario, even though he would have liked it. One of the examples is Tom Bombadil as a character. Tom Bombadil is a spirit that literally is not affected by the ring's temptation. He's not. 100% cell. He is a pure spirit that cannot be affected by how the ring does, just because of who he is as a person. Peter Jackson, one, felt like it wasn't good to bring in this character because one, it would have taken away from Frodo himself, who was taking so much time to resist the ring, and how easily the ring has manipulated other stronger-willed people and throughout the series. So he chose, of course, not to use Tom Bombadil. They're going to use him in the newest series, I heard, but still. There are other factors why he didn't use Tom Bombadil, because again, the added addition of that would have probably made the movies even longer. than what they already were. But still, there are multiple. And again, the change he did with Sauron, because originally Sauron was supposed to actually be an entity that Aragorn and them fought outside the Black Gates, where Frodo goes to the Mount Doom to destroy the ring. However, he chose not to have that happen because he felt like the final battle, having Sauron there fight Aragorn and them, would have taken away people's eyes off of Frodo and his actions for destroying the ring. And honestly, I think he was right. I think if I would have known, or if I would have been watching like Aragorn, Legolas, Gandalf, and everyone fight Sauron outside the Black Gate, where Frodo was just taking on Smeagol, I'd be like, fuck it, go back to that. As a kid, anyways. But I enjoy these thoughts these creators have, because not only are they thinking about the story, but they're thinking about the characters themselves, and they're thinking about clearly, well, what happens if I have to cut this? Or do I need to cut this? Or do I need to do X thing? In this scenario, when it comes to, because here in this actual art, in the post, he says, I read the manga. So he's using the manga as a descriptor to kind of talk about the guys. Like, you may not have seen that in the anime, but that's probably because it wasn't actually translated in the anime or adapted, but it was done in the manga. And he says, oh yeah, sorry, I should have emphasized that I've only watched the anime and I didn't read the manga. The anime kept teasing the romantic tension between some characters, only for nothing to concrete to happen at the end of the series. And then he replies with, on the contrary, I haven't watched the anime, so I don't know what got glossed over, but I would get where you have been happy if the couple had actually gotten together in the end of the story. And again, this is a nice little conversation these guys are having, but I wanted to bring this up just because I have to give people an idea of like what I mean about talking about continuity, about story structure, and about like the idea of adaptation. Because I've had these conversations with people for a long while now, and it seems that people still don't understand what I'm talking about when I say like you can't use one source material to explain away another source material. It just doesn't translate well. It doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, you have to leave it up to the actual writers and the directors and the creators to have the ability enough to actually like do that. Because there is never going to be a medium that's going to be able to one-for-one translate it. Things in a book are not ever going to translate well for a movie. Because a movie, no matter how long we make movies now, 3 hours to possibly even 4 hours, will never fully be able to take on all the information that's written in a book that's like over 1,000 pages. It's just not.
Yeah.
The same way how a movie doesn't always transition well over to like, let's say for instance, a TV series, or how an anime doesn't always transition well over to a movie. There are just things that are not going to fly that just aren't going to work.
Or comic books.
Exactly. Comic books and video games too. Adaptations have to take
I think a good example of how you can make a movie and then adapt it into a cartoon would be Conan the Barbarian.
Are you talking about the old 1984 Conan, or which one are you talking about?
The old one.
With Arnold, right?
The old one.
Yeah, with Arnold?
Yes. And then that one got adapted to a cartoon series.
I heard they're making a new Conan. Yeah, isn't like Arnold coming back to reprise his role, but he's like old Conan on like a throne or something?
I don't know. I haven't touched on Conan for a long ass time.
But yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to bring that up to talk about that, because I think it's important to really talk about and discuss these things and kind of give you an idea of, one, how I think, and how, two, I see other people think too. But I do really like this conversation between the actual author Mosuko Tensei and this random fan of both my hero and probably his work. This entire like conversation, and he's talking to all these people about all this stuff. And like again, everything's being culture, everything's being nice. This is probably one of the few posts I'll ever showcase that is literally just people generally like talking about like story and like what he means.
Unlike with the other manga creators that got flack for the most stupidest reason by the Westerners.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was nice. But yeah, going on to the next, I'm actually gonna keep these up because I want to go over that for a video later. This is probably going to be the last subject of tonight, and this is probably the one that I'm going to be talking. I'm hoping you're going to be talking to about too. But essentially, this has nothing to do with anime. It has everything to do with a gacha game. And a gacha game is neverness to the everness. God, go away, stupid advertising. So recently, this game had actually just released. I think, when did this game actually fully come out again?
I don't know. I never heard of it.
What, you've never heard of this game?
No.
It's the anime GTA game.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the game where like you basically just like ride around town GTA style doing wacky crazy shit.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it either, and I'm really excited to. I want to, but I don't think my PC can handle it. The actual graphics for this game are insane, like the detail that they went into. But anyways, so the controversy is Neverness the Everness, the devs respond after Iron Mouse accuses them of lying over the use of AI. So what we had happen is Iron Mouse came out and said Iron Mouse has dropped her sponsorship with the open world gacha RPG Neverness the Everness NTE. On stream, she explained that it was her ad agency who had been assured by the developers of the game containment of no generative AI. Now again, Pirate Nation added this. It wasn't generative. It was AI in general. So she said AI. She stated that they told her team, "We do not have AI in anything. There is no AI anywhere." After seeing evidence of AI-generated assets, including atmospheric renders and promotional shorts, she got mad. Why, fuck. Why are you fucking lying, bro? And confirmed that she will not be playing or promoting the game. So she comes out and throws a little tantrum, saying like she's not playing the game, and it wasn't just her; it was several people. So I love Emerald Apple. Emerald Apple is probably one of the people I go to the most to like come out with information like this. But yeah, so Emerald Apple says Iron Mouse, Shadow Lily, Adam Lee, and even the VA of a game, Maggie Ellis, have come out against the usage of AI and Neverness the Everness. The citing being lied to by the use of AI, as well as being productive of the artists and voices actors of whom AI threatens. So they're basically accusing the game, of course, using AI for both voice lines, for assets in the game, and saying the fact that they were lied to for promoting the game, being assured that the game did not have any uses of AI. Now, I've tried looking it up. I can't. The development team seems like they said from the beginning that they were using generative AI, but I don't know what directly she spoke with her team with about that. My argument isn't for that. My argument isn't for the fact that like whether or not like how much AI is too much AI, what are you? And again, even Emerald's Apple, like what they're talking about, I agree with everything they're stating here, but this isn't even my argument going forward. My argument entirely. So before I actually give out my argument. So Neverness to the Everness, devs Hoto Studio have responded to the growing controversy after players accused the game of using AI-generated assets. The backlash exploded online after fans spotted several suspicious areas in-game and in promotional material. One of the viral comparisons claiming that the scene closely mirrored an imagery of Mokuto Shiko's anime film Weathering with You, while other highlighted the in-game TV advertisement that appeared to have some of the old frame distortions. The controversy even grew larger when the VTuber Iron Mouse publicly cut ties with the game, claiming she had been assured that that there was no AI anywhere in the project before she accepted the sponsorship. Now the NTE devs are issued a public statement addressing the backlash and confirming some AI asset tools were used during development. So this is what they said. Thank you for your feedback. It matters to us. Neverness the Everness is built on human creativity. The characters, the stories, the world you experience is all are the work of artists, writers, and designers. Reads the statements before revealing that the AI uses during the stream. Small parts of development. AI assistant tools are being used only for small number of background environmental assets, not one of the characters or the stories that define in the game, continues the post. We are already reviewing the reworking of flagged assets, clear skies in the summer and pink paw hesitation. Heist, my bad. Your feedback shapes it in the game, so please keep upcoming. We're listening and we're committed to developing the quality you deserve. So that was their response. And honestly, it's not a bad response. And again, here's where it goes in my argument. And here's where I'm always going to go back to it. People oftentimes, I'm not going to say oftentimes, a lot of the times, I keep hearing people bitch and moan and cry and whine about, man, fucking Japan is so bad. Like, these companies keep overworking their animators. They overwork their, not even just Japan, Disney. Disney overworked their graphic designers and their CG artists all the time in their little dungeons. They make jokes about it too, that they're inside the Disney's dungeons, crafting and doing all this shit all the time. Like, I really wish Disney would either A, pay them more, pay them what they're worth, or just, like, stop pushing in crunch. You know, even the crunch argument too is like, why do we need crunch in all our video games for games like why am I forgetting the name? Cyberpunk and everything. Like they made a huge stink about that for controversy. I agree. I think crunch is bad. I think you should give developers more time to work on the things they do, and I always have it to rely on the actual set date that you have for it. If you need more time to work on the game, most of the time the audience will understand. I always go to Cuphead for that argument. But going back to my statement, the idea that these people always come out and the side of we fight for the developers who are being forced to put hours and hours on hours not seeing their family, all this other shit, right? Every time I hear people make this argument, and I always tell them, oh, that's crazy. You know what could benefit them? A system where they can actually take off some of that workload from them, like some of the more tedious tasks of either rendering maybe some leaves or foliage on trees, or maybe the actual amount of like time passing, so this way the clouds move along, so this way they don't have to actually put that coding in themselves, or maybe a couple assets of just like, you know, a couple picture frames or posters in the background, you know, some things like that. Oh, how do we do that? Oh, we use some things like generative AI. Oh no, we hate AI. Fuck that shit. It takes away jobs from these people. No, keep in-house work. Wait, but you just said you wish these people had more time.
Some contradicting shit.
And that's why I'm always gonna go back. It's literally the level of retardation that you can't have an argument with these people or have a discussion about the idea. Like, my first bit of my argument is going to be, I don't give a shit what you think. AI is coming. AI is only going to get better. It is not stopping.
But here's the thing. I don't think people should rely too much on AI, but you know, at the same time, it's pretty stupid of you to just bitch and whine about AI. I swear to God, anti-AI people are so fucking retarded.
No,
like,
it's ridiculous. Like people keep wanting to. People keep. It's funny, right? So, I brought this argument up to someone recently. I was just like, so you've told me in the past that you don't think us bringing back factories from different countries and bringing back manufacturing here would benefit us in the economy. And they went, that's right. I'm like, but you have a problem with AI? Why? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you think that any job we have can either be outsourced or eventually robots are going to take over and they're going to be able to do our job for manufacturing easy, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so then why are you okay with that happening to people who have put their time into being a part of those factory jobs, but not for the people who you deem as artists and creatives online who are seeing their work be used as well as AI being implanted into some of these things? And he's like, well,
granted, AI can be really expensive to manage.
But my issue is the fact that like people can't see the comparison there when I bring up the factory jobs versus AI. And it's like, he's like, you sound like the people who used to work back in the day in like the 90s and 2000s, used to yelling to the high heavens, robots are going to take our jobs. Robots are going to take our jobs. And while you are correct, manufacturing did become more robotic and there are a lot simpler things to do things. We still use many of our main factory plants to this day. The problem wasn't the robots. The problem was outsourcing them to other countries. Same way here. AI is just a tool for us to use to actually help better and like reduce our time and stress. Like those artists who are sitting there just like worried about the fact that they might not have time to finish.
It's definitely a good placeholder, but not something you would.
Well, that's what most of these companies are doing. They're using generative AI to either create assets that are either placeholders for the time being for them to actually finish up work, or small tedious things.
That is the exception that a lot of these dumb fucks don't understand.
Because people keep seeing AI because people are seeing the worst examples of AI. That being the amount of AI people create on like things like ChatGPT or with Grok just to make like porn for the quickest moment. Like, I'm sorry, that's AI, but that's not what people are actively using it in the industry of both like tech and people are using it for software engineering.
Trust me, I hate seeing AI generated art every time I go to the flea market or whenever time when I go to the store.
But again, my biggest thing is the fact that it's not even just that. It's not even the fact that there is a slight hypocrisy and contradiction with it. It's the fact that they're so anal mad about never to everness using generative AI to just hold placeholders for both their marketing, for their promotional material, and for the in-game assets. Just small little bit of assets, not even like anything crazy. When literally, Claire Obscura used generative AI for its system as well. This was Game of the Year. Was paid with like 20,000 awards. I think it's literally holds the award for the most amount of awards won in the Game of Year. The Game Awards. Now, granted, there was some controversy with fucking the studio using AI. People got mad at them, but at the same time, people praised this game all hell and back, and it deserved it. A small team of like 12 developers worked on this game for years, and they deserve every bit of praise they got for it. But the moment people found out that AI was used in the smallest of fraction of a way, people start saying, "Nah, you don't deserve those awards."
That's just stupid.
And then you go.
It doesn't even it doesn't affect the gameplay at all.
It doesn't affect the gameplay. It doesn't affect the story. It doesn't affect anything. But the moment you mention AI, people lose their proverbial shit. It's like they get blinders on and they fucking just forget about everything else around them.
They think it's this when you use AI, that means you're using AI stuff that you see in a lot of AI generated PR and ads.
Exactly. But like, here's the kicker, right? So I was really curious. What games have used generative AI? And I looked at some of the actual playlists of some of these VTubers who are making these like big stink about AI, and some of these people online are. This is a website. Someone has actually documented not only which games have used AI assets in their games, but whether or not it's been disclosed on Steam and patched out. This guy gives you the sources. He gives you everything of the time the development was. This guy did an amazing job. But this shows you all these games that use generative AI currently. Literally.
Yeah.
You may not recognize, like, Arc Raiders. Fucking Battlefield 6, right the fuck there. Blood High. Literally so many of these games. And again, the guy tells you which ones have disclosed this on Steam and which ones haven't. Got an alphabetical order. Divinity. Fucking just like go through the scroll. I'm sure for a fact, you will see a game on there that you know for a fact you played or you enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that shit.
For a video on Pippa's take on AI.
Huh? What'd you say?
I'm trying to look for the video of Pippa saying the take on AI.
Oh, I'm assuming it's a decent take, right?
Yeah, I'm not. That's because there's like another one that's like recent, and I'm not sure. I haven't heard of the recent one.
But no, it's just ridiculous the fact that these people will fucking like trash a company, attack it, and again, going back to Emerald's post here on X.
Oh, actually, I think you should watch it, Dula.
Wait, hold up. Let me finish this. So back to Emerald Apple's post. Again, I agree with this comment completely. What about the programmers? What about the developers? Generative AI today is used universally for the development of software. Has already led to loss of many software development jobs, especially in the junior entry levels jobs. AI is already in every game, software, websites, and yes, even on the back end of the Twitch. And but it's different technology. No generative AI, whether or not the LLMs or the clouded code or the AI art videos use the same kind of transfer algorithm. AI is already in tons of games. Again, 100% agree. And again, this isn't even all the games. This is all the games that have come up within the past few years. I'm talking like since 2024, he has been logging this. Mm-hmm. We've only just now been noticing AI. But AI has been in technology. Like many tech companies have been fucking with AI since like the 2020s, like early 2021, 2020. Yeah. So we don't even know how far back it goes.
No, look, here's the thing. As I was designing my VTuber self, I literally had to like made a shitty sketch and literally generated with AI. And it made it look somewhat accurate, but I needed to like make a few changes. Because not only I have to commission somebody to redraw it, but I also cannot claim that design as my own because that doesn't make any sense. It'll feel very unfair.
Well, it's the same with me. I asked my artist, hey, I can't always find an image that like best describes... Go ahead.
And then that's why I had to get somebody to redraw and redesign my VTuber model. And I love it how it turned out. And then after that, I had to mess with the colors because it didn't really exactly... Because I was listening to different genres of music, so I had to change my VTuber's colors.
Yeah.
To fit my image for that a lot better.
But yeah, but I would say when it comes to, because for me, I am pretty strict on how my VTuber self looks. Okay, if there's like one slight mistake, nah, fuck no. I don't. That's why I don't fuck with AI in that situation. Like,
Oh.
I don't mind if somebody uses AI, like you did with with the channel intros. Like, I don't mind that. It's. Sometimes we just don't have time to do things, or
Literally,
can't
all I
have
did
enough.
was use an image. I literally even said like, "Hey, do this with this image. Now take this out and put this in. Now change this piece of artwork. Now do this." And then I cropped it out,
Yeah.
made it on PMG, and everything else on the edit I did.
Yeah. Like, that's an exception. Like, now for that, like, I don't
Well,
care if
that's
anybody
and
uses
that's
it.
all anyone's really asking for you to do with AI, because AI is just a tool for you to use to help better
Exactly.
whatever creative process you're doing.
Exactly. It's just that I don't like using AI to generate images of my VTubers, though, because a lot of times it's
And that's fine.
extremely
If you
accurate.
have your own principled belief, that's fine. The problem is when some of these people come into the actual ecosystem of gaming, it's a streaming or whatever, and they start bitching and
Yeah.
moaning about like the fact like, oh, you use AI, oh, what a fucking asshole. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
they probably only use it for like a small margin of what they actually do. It's like you're diminishing their work and saying like because they use
Yeah.
AI, they deserve to have their
always-
fucking shit clowned
it's
on.
always, it's always the people who are bitching and whining is always the nose ring activists with the pronouns in the bio.
But
and
but that's
Greek
but that's not
dollar
even it in
signs.
this case. It's fucking Iron Mouse of all people.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Mouse has always been pretty
Retarded.
not exactly retarded, but more
Stupid.
like knee jerk into the
Well, some people are calling her
like, activist.
performative, and I might actually agree with that statement. Because looking more into this, I'm like, yeah, it does seem kind
Yeah,
of like
but-
out of nowhere.
It
Because
does, but you gotta keep in mind, Iron Mouse does suffer a disability too, but she cannot use that as an excuse for a lot.
no,
of
no,
stuff.
if this was like something involving something physical, or like someone lied to her about not
Yeah.
being able, like if this was her ad agency saying like, oh yeah, they're saying it's okay, you can use your tablet robot to come
mean-
into the facility, and they're like, oh no, we
Yeah,
need you here in person. Like that's one thing. This is nothing involving that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like last year we felt bad for her because she donated money and guess what happened to be Shoujo.
Right. I mean, but what I'm saying is those incidents of who she is now is not comparable. Like I always tell people,
Exactly.
you can't
It's not-
use
it's not
you
comparable
can't
at
use
all.
one past incident to judge the current one. You can like Iron Mouse, but still think she said a shit take.
Yeah, exactly.
And in my case, she just made a really shit take. That's why I call her retarded.
Shy
But
Lily
she
too.
well, that's yeah. Shy Lily, Adam Lee, and even the VA all said really stupid things about this, and the fact that they're willing to drop their fucking promotion for it is ridiculous. But hey, if you want to do that, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, I already shared you the link to Pippa's video on her take on AI. It's like the recent take. It's not the one that I was talking about, really.
Okay, I can watch it.
But it's actually the recent one. It's not the other one, but I feel like her take is pretty much unchanged
Okay, hold up. Let me
from the last one I
let
saw.
me,
it
let me
tended to
pause
show.
it. Let me cut the music very quick. Here he is. Because I want to turn her up a bit.
I mean, obviously AI is not human. I've already gone on like a tirade about this before. Back during when I played Atomic Heart, a lot of people got really angry at me. A lot of people got angry at me. When I played Atomic Heart, I went on like a schizo tirade. I was like, people are stupid to be afraid of AI taking over because AI can't take over. It's not AI doesn't have the ability to like to think for itself. Like it just like it's patterns. It pulls patterns. It pulls
Again, immediately I understand what she's saying, but that's not why people are afraid. People are afraid of AI actually becoming sentient, what it actually is and what it can do. And again, there are case scenarios where yes, what AI does is not about pulling patterns. It's about literally understanding the focus of which it's like look at chess for instance, right? It's giving it the rules of chess and telling it, hey, we want you to beat this person in a game of chess, right? And like, okay, I have the rules of chess. I know what each individual piece can move and how far it can move and what direction it can move in. All right, game one goes boom, 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 boom. It loses in game. It loses by turn 5. All right, okay, restart it. Takes that into account for the next. Ooh, hit my mic. Takes into account for next. It is patterns, but it is significant tracking patterns with a set amount of rules we are giving it. And the problem is the current AI model cannot track past what we're giving it in a certain amount of information. Like even using someone like Vito's AI, Neurosama, half the stuff Neurosama does is still Vito. Vito is still inputting information to Neuro to actually say and do specific things. The problem here is,
Or it's Atreya.
yeah,
Or is it different?
no, it's the same. It's essentially it's someone else putting information for the AI to replicate through its own speech or through its own means, but you have to use outside force to help it learn. And the problem here is that our current model of AI is not the model many people think it'll be, like for instance Skynet or some shit like that, right? It's a learning by trial basis, like how every other like human does. You fuck up once, it goes again and redoes it again. It does it until it becomes successful, and it's learned, okay, percentage of a chance of success for this doing this is this much. Percentage of chance of success doing this is this much. Now we must find how we can shrink that time down, but increasing the success rate by doing X thing. That's how our current model AI works. It is a process through patterns and through failure and success until it gets to the point where it can do what it needs to do successfully 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And-
Let's try to at least watch the full video just so
It's 7
I
minutes
hope we
long.
can, like reach a point that I'm trying to make.
People's existing content. Like the best it could ever do is like emulate people's idea of a takeover, but it can't. Like it's not. Yeah, it has no intrinsic drive. It's not gonna. It's not
Currently.
gonna do that. AI is not going to become sentient and take over. That's a stupid worry. Melgear's Gaming, thank you. In the AI news stream, Grok can literally give you odds and do the potential bets of sports matches the day of. I don't think any other AI can do that. Oh, how does that work? How does that work? Can Grok
Easy. Grok's information is literally just taking the actual account of like what it is, the patterns of like how often something has won successfully in the past, and it just makes an algorithm based upon that. It is literally just same way as learning through pattern, but it's taking into consideration the percentage of, for instance, if you're taking like the game chance of like, let's say the New York Giants take on the fucking the Patriots. Like, okay, how has the Patriots been doing this year? Oh, well, they're going. They haven't lost a single game. What about the New York Giants? Hey, they lost 2. Okay, so they've both been doing good, but the Patriots have a higher chance of winning. Well, okay, let's look at the fact that Pat Manning is not actually playing this game. Oh, we have to take that into consideration now. Like, it's literally just looking at information that you're giving it, and it's making the best algorithm choice it can through that, and giving you the highest likelihood of what can happen. It's not always one for one because it's only giving you. It only knows what you're feeding into it.
Yeah. I'd say just like watch the video and don't pause it because it'll be like much quicker.
Well,
instead of just, like,
Han,
pausing it
I'm
and
not.
everything.
I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna talk. That's the whole point of transforming content. I'm not just gonna sit here and watch Pippa's content.
But I'm pretty sure you agree with Pippa for the most part.
Well, probably, but still, the whole. You realize, like, to make something fair use, you have to make this material transformative. If I just sit here and let the video talk, then that's just Pippa at that
Yeah,
point. Just go watch Pippa.
Wait, let me see if I can find this YouTube short.
It's fine. I'll keep letting
know
it play, but I'm gonna keep pausing talking.
do basic math? Can you tell Grok to write something backwards? It doesn't have decision-making abilities. There he is. Don't say I didn't warn you. They unlocked the beast. Oh. You're right. Current AI is just a really good next word guesser. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm not personally afraid of AI. I guess I can understand why people might be afraid of it, and maybe I'm
Current model. I'm not afraid of the current model. And I always have to tell people that. I am not afraid of the current model of AI.
stupid. Maybe I should be afraid of it. But like, even with like AI art stuff, this one might piss off a lot of people. Even with like AI art stuff, I haven't really seen AI art taking away people's jobs. Rather, like from artists, anyways. But it has like taken over like stock photos. You know what I mean? Like where.
And again, yeah, I 100% agree. I've not seen it take over anyone's actual job. What it has done is taken away like small like you know how like you would go to like the dentist and the dentist will have some crappy like printed out painting that they found on some sort of flea market for like 10 cents. Or as she stated, stock photos that you'd see like here's a picture frame. We pulled this random guy off of Google search and like he's the placeholder before you put your actual picture of your grandma there or something.
Yeah.
That's all it's done. It hasn't actually, but again, it's the fear of the fact that it can. Like, people are not fearing the fact that it will. People are fearing the fact that it can. It's the possibility of it, and the fact that they're not sure to what degree it's going to take over.
As people would normally have used like stock photos for something, it does seem like AI has taken over there. I guess in like games and stuff. It's taken over there as well. I think AI has prompted schools to have to reevaluate themselves.
Yes, I agree. So AI has basically told students, hey, you don't need to learn shit. Just literally ask Grok to print you out the fucking Grok. I need to read The Great Gatsby like by tomorrow. Can you write an entire essay for me, please? Sure, no problem, kid. Here's your Grok written essay of The Great Gatsby. Cool, I'm gonna print that shit out, give it to my teacher. And now the teacher uses her AI to basically tell me, hey, Grok, was this written by you? Grok, yes, it was completely written by me.
Yeah.
No, I literally think we need to start making it so this way, like, either A, we have to put it in a system where, like, kids have to have, like, the honor system of, like, not using their phones both in class and to solve their everyday problems. Or B,
Yeah.
just literally, like, make it so this way there's a ban on it. You cannot use your cell phone during class, only outside of class. Because there is a huge issue with kids, like, not only being glued to their fucking screen in school, but willingly using information that they can find outside of, like, what's being taught to them to learn what they really shouldn't be learning at that point. It's ridiculous. Like, people have become so beholden to their telephone, to the phone screens now. It is crazy. And again, AI is only supplementing that even more. People are more willing to basically like use it to basically like, hey,
And not
Grok,
only
do my
that,
homework.
but I remember in my school, my biology teacher was like, "Don't ever use Wikipedia," and it's not because of cheating, but because it's biased. Because it doesn't put all that stuff that's true. It just puts on the writer's ideology and perspective. At first, I didn't believe my teacher, and I just decided to use Wikipedia because it was much quicker for me to finish all my homework and stuff. But as years went on, I started deep diving onto this whole like drama shit, like Gamergate or the whole 2016 thing. I started to slowly realize that my teacher was right.
Yeah, Wikipedia is a place because anyone, so long as you hold a position of mod, quote unquote, you're able to go in and change the reference sheet however you feel like. So people oftentimes would go in of different ideologies, of different perspectives, and were like, no, I know who wrote this. No, I read about who wrote this instead. Let's put him in there, and they would just go in there and change it in real time. So a lot of the times, information would be either contradictory or painted in a specific perspective of someone else. That's why people oftentimes didn't use Wikipedia for studies in school and essays they would write or for like thesis statements, because Wikipedia's information, it's not that it's being it's not like you can it's not like it's misinformation. It's just like not the actual amount of information you really need.
Yeah. Like it may sound like it's not cheating. Like they don't want to cheat, but they just want you to get the correct context.
Yeah.
Much needed way. Stuff like the replacement of exams, written exams with like oral exams. I think that's great. I think that's ideal. I think school.
No, sorry, I don't want to sit there and listen to little Johnny's fucking 2-hour speech on how we invented the fucking telephone.
Being like, okay, well, we can't trust people to not just generate their essays. We're gonna have to make them actually articulate their opinions. Like, I think that's a good thing.
You are giving young kids way too much credit. I can barely articulate now.
I think that's overdue. Isn't it assignments, not exams? It's probably both. It guys shows how blatantly prehistoric educational system is. Going back to handwritten essays, I don't think handwritten essays will really help because people will just copy from the screen. Thank you. That's a hot take. To some people, yeah. How would you generate anything for an exam?
Well, like for plagiarism, like people who literally would just write what they read on Wikipedia down on paper and turn it in. Like that, how my school solved that was literally oral exam. So you would have to write out your paper and then you'd have to present it to the class. So you would actually have to read out your work. And some of our fucking like geniuses who I went to school with couldn't pronounce some of the words that they written down on the actual sheet of paper. because they would just take it from like the library and write out what the book said, and the book would specifically use specific verbiage or wording that they were not accustomed to. So my teacher would just I loved my teacher so much. Like he actually got his doctorate, so he started going by his actual like people would call him Doctor. I'm gonna call him Dr. Manley. So Dr. Manley would like literally like would just sit there. He'd wheel his chair in the middle of class and watch us do our exams. So not only did you have like the tables of kids like surrounding you watching, but he'd be front row and center to listen to what you would have to say. So I remember one time this one guy, he was reading his exam, his paper he wrote, and he it was we had to make a business. That was the class. That was the subject because he was teaching us about like Americana, and it was a business class. So we had to make a business, and so he was presenting his business. He was pitching his business to him, like he had made it like actual like filmed a movie, like a commercial for his business. And I'm not gonna lie to you when I tell you this, like understand this man is by no means racist. He's just an idiot. So he called his restaurant the Coon Village, where you could come down to the Bayou Cafe and order yourself a nice hankering piece of pig, wild boar, game, and all this other stuff. Come on down to the Bayou Cafe. We have a section called the Coon Village where you can enjoy food.
Wow.
I have never seen a human being like lower their head an embarrassment for another person until I saw my teacher do that for him. One of my best friends at the time literally raised his hand after the presentation was done, and he goes like, "Yes." Oh, by the way, he spoke in a southern accent. By the way, when he did this,
Yeah, of course.
and so again, he's not racist at all. He's just an idiot. He's a naive, oblivious person. I love this kid. He was one of my closest friends. He was just retarded. That's all he was. He was just retarded. So one of my friends raises his hand and goes like, so you sit in the Coon Village in the Bayou Cafe?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "And you're telling us that you..." He's like, "What kind of clientele do you want to come here?" He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What kind of clientele are coming to the Coon Village?" And he starts laughing when he's saying this, and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. Let this man sit down after giving his report. Please let him shut up. Please, I was begging him to stop talking." And then like it finally clicked on him as my friend was saying this. He's like, "Oh no, man, he's not racist like that. Come on, man." And my teacher's like, he looks at him. He's like, "I'm gonna give you a B. Please sit down." He just wanted to be done with it. He did not give a fuck after that. I was laughing my ass off at the school. Like I told him, I was like, "Dude, how did you come up with this? Who did you talk to when you were creating this idea? Did you run it by your dad? Did you run it by anyone?" He's like, "No, I came up with it all myself." I'm like, "Oh dear Lord. Oh, that's painful." How did we get on this subject?
I don't know. But let's continue because the stream might stop at any random moment.
Online school is basically over. My personal opinion is that people are the smartest that they've ever been. I know people like to pretend that like, oh my god, people have gotten so dumb, blah 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 blah. When you think about it, right? Like the shit that people are able to do nowadays. Like,
No, we actually have students who are illiterate. There was actually a study done recently where it was literally like many of these actual high schools, like people are entering grades 9 and 12, not being able to read.
Yeah.
People only become more retarded because of technology.
we have a whole world of information at our fingertips. We're
And they can't read a single damn thing of it.
able to learn so much, do so much, keep up with so much. Like
They're able to keep up with so much bullshit. I love this woman.
I do
crazy.
too.
We're balancing.
My favorite pink bunny.
We're spinning so many plates that like we were not like made to spin. And I think that's why people get so burnt out as well. 'Cause there's just
I love Pippa, but I think this is a a modern day recency bias because she sees it as us being able to hold a device in our hand that is able to multitask on its own. You're able to text someone while looking up information, put in GPS to give you the direction in which you're going, make a call to talk to someone halfway across the world. Like this, she thinks because of this factor, this means we're juggling so much, including our everyday lives of work. You have to remember, people back in the day used to write this shit down. People back in the day used to have to memorize. Okay, if I go down Broadway Street and turn left at the egg cart, and then make a quick dart right, I'll make it to the bakery in time at 3:30 p.m. just in time to get my daily coffee. To then run back over to Jefferson, take the cab all the way down here. Like people had to actually used to scrap. We had maps every time I used to go on a road trip with my mom and my brothers. We had an actual old school map. My mom would have to read the signs, look at where she's going, say, okay, the next turnoff is here, about 5 miles out. She'd have to actually, she would be watching the speedometer to see how many miles she's gone from one point to the next point to understand how much longer it's going to take. Because we didn't used to have signs that always give directions like that. They got added in more and more over the time as progressed. Hell, Florida didn't start changing some of that shit until like recently, the past 10 years. But like, we had to juggle so much more back in the day without technology. Technology has only made our lives simpler and easier. It hasn't really bettered us. If anything, it's made us stupider. This is why I'm like hard disagreeing with her in this factor right here. I'm like, again, I think this is because Pippa's too young to really know what life was like in the 90s. Pippa's like in her 20s, right?
No, I think she's a lot more older. I mean, she says she grew up with Tumblr, but I don't know.
Jesus Christ. If she's like around my age, then I'm going to be like, Pippa, like, I don't know how the fuck you came to this conclusion then.
But I'm not sure if Kirsha would probably agree with her take.
Probably not.
There's information overload at all fucking times. Access to information isn't equivalent to intelligence. I would say the sheer level of access to information and the different things that people have to learn nowadays to survive, I would say people are definitely smarter. I think
No, again, I agree with that comment. Access to information and being able to understand, process, and maintain the information given to you is a whole lot different than just being able to access the information. If you cannot retain the thing you just read, like I was watching a debate happen the other day between one commentator I really like and a fucking retard, and she was trying to use a study that she did not remember the name of. She couldn't cite where she found it from, and she couldn't even remember who wrote the study, but she was using it as a counter to this man's argument. And I'm like, if you can't remember the name of the study, where you found the study, who wrote the study, or any of the actual like points the study gave to prove my argument against me, then why should I take this study as a form of like any evidence whatsoever? Like the fact of the matter is, people cannot maintain. People have a problem with memory nowadays. People cannot maintain anything longer than about 2 to maybe even like 10 seconds at a time of like trying to juggle something. I've talked with people, young kids to this day, who literally just sit. I work with people who like my manager tells them to do X thing and do these other X5 things. And then they do one of the 5 things given them a task, and as soon as they're done, the rest of the tasks go right out of their fucking head, like as though it just dropped out of their fucking brain, and then they just stand there looking at their phone for the next few hours.
Yeah.
Because their brain only allowed them to maintain, oh, I have to make sure I sweep, and then that's it.
I think people love to look at the past and go, well, like, oh, things used to be so much better. It's like everything's always sucked. Everything has always sucked. All right? You think people 200 years ago, all right? Like people meme, oh my god, American education on geography. You think people 200 years ago knew as much shit about other countries as you do now?
Oh, hell no.
The people that were like seriously interested in history and shit. Like nowadays, like people just casually know so much about other countries and can.
They probably know enough about the actual entertainment of other countries and very like small niche factoids. Like, did you know the Great Wall of China is in China? Yeah, I did. But I
It's a
doubt
name.
they probably know anything past that.
Can develop their interests so easily. Our information is more accurate than it's ever been. And
I would say yes, but to a certain point.
No, the fuck it isn't. Half our information is pure fucking opinionated statements from people of different ideologies
Yeah,
combating one
but-
another
But I
constantly.
think, she's talking about when it's used by all sources. Like,
If
from
we're talking
non-biased.
about all sources, possibly, but at the same time, it's one of those difficult things
think
to
that's
really
what she-
judge and like what grounds. Yes, I would say if you're looking up information on Google to tell you about the history of like when was Sesame Street created and who created it, yeah, I would argue that that's 100% true. Like you'll
Yeah,
probably
I think
actually get
she's
with the
going for
information.
I think I think she's going for that lens.
If that is that lens,
biased
that's fine. The biggest problem is the fact that like even then, like as she said, as she stated, like people will be interested in looking at the things for like their hobbies and stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's probably a good handful of people who actively go online and search up things for like maybe like, hey, how do I repair a toilet? Or hey, what's the quickest way to like stop my engine from leaking or stuff like that, and then watch a YouTube video and then do it themselves. There's also a handful of people who see a problem, and if they can't call someone to fix it that already has the experience to do it, will just ignore it until the problem becomes a bigger problem, and then they get mad at themselves. They're like, hey, why didn't I take care of this earlier? I'm like, I don't know, retard, why didn't you take care of this earlier? There are so many people in this day and age that I've met in my life. I'm still very young, but in my young adult life, that actively do everything they can not to read something to learn something new.
Yeah.
Like the world is filled with, again, we had information at our fingertips. It's whether or not we choose to actually engage with that information and then attempt to retain that information for any period of time. And even then, if you learn something new on the internet that you didn't know before, the next moment you go on TikTok, all that information goes away now.
Yeah. I mean, just look at my mom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like people are like, wow, I didn't know that the scale that the Alpha Tower was like this large. It was made this much mass density and yada yada yada. And then they're like, oh look, TikTok about like fucking girl shopping or something. And then like they stare at their fucking phone doom scrolling for the next 2 hours, and all that information they just learn about fucking the Statue of Liberty goes out the window.
Yeah. But to be honest, Jola, I think you should try to at least try to be understanding with Pippa, because I really love Pippa.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not understanding Pippa, but like at the same time, I'm you can disagree with someone but still understand their perspective on something.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I love Pippa. I know you do love Pippa too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can disagree with Pippa, but I still understand her point of view.
Yeah, I mean, at least she's not being an anti-AI.
Or no, I'm not saying that. By no means am I mad at Pippa or like saying Pippa's bad or anything. I'm literally just laughing at the actual context of everything because I think it's funny. And again, I do agree with her in some cases. The problem is, I think she has modern day recency bias and not fully understand what life was like back in the day. And I do agree. I think people have a nostalgic bias where it goes like, oh, wasn't life so much simpler in the 90s? I'm like, sure, but you were also a child in the 90s, so all you had to worry about was coming home from school, making sure your parents like made you lunch, and then just sit down on the fucking floor watching TV. You didn't really have much else to think about. Like you were a child. When you're a child, life seems so much simpler and easier because you don't have to worry about when your next meal is coming, or paying off the mortgage to your house, or the payments to your car, or subscription fees coming in from X thing. Because it wasn't your problem. You had someone else to delegate that to. Willingly, because they were your parents. But now that you're an adult, you don't have those same like freedoms.
Habits that you do.
Huh?
Habits that you do.
Yeah, exactly. You have to actually take it to the point where you become a responsible adult and you start taking action for yourself and doing these things yourself that is needed. The problem is we have a generation of giant man children who don't want to do that for themselves. and would rather stay at home and live with their parents for like the next fucking like 20 years of their lives and not have kids, not look into a relationship or anything like that. Now again, that's not everybody. The problem is the fact that we still have these people who'd rather go online and fight these weird ass like freedom battles and like have arguments with people online or become Reddit moderators than instead of actually trying to better themselves in some way while retaining a nice healthy relationship with their hobbies. Like I have no problem if you sit there and you collect. Like again, I like Gunpla. I've been buying Gunpla mangas. I've been making them. I've been buying anime figures lately. I've been buying manga again. I've been enjoying myself.
I may not like tabletop role playing games, but I could still at least try like play at least of it, even if I don't care too much about it.
Yeah, exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like people still need to actively engage with trying to better themselves in some way.
Yeah, I mean that's how okay, never mind.
Love to go. Oh, with the fucking fake news and foreign psyops polluting the information pool and blah blah blah, and people regurgitating bad information. People have always regurgitated bad information.
That's true.
There's always been psyops, and there's always been books and shit with bad info in them.
100%.
In general, everything's more accurate than ever. Unity Perception 6 and Intelligence 6 is the minimum to survive in the current day. There are a lot of complicated financial scams, legal and illegal. Knowledge is not the same as intelligence, the ability to learn and think critically. And those are in decline. I disagree.
I disagree with your disagreement.
I think you're exposed.
I said I disagree with your disagreement. Like, hear what she just read.
Financial scams, legal and illegal. Knowledge is not the same as intelligence, the ability to learn and think critically. And those are in decline. I disagree. I think you're exposed to.
Wait, what did she try to imply?
She disagrees with the fact that, again, like hear it one more time.
Intelligence 6 is the minimum to survive in the current day. There are a lot of complicated financial scams, legal and illegal. Knowledge is not the same as intelligence, the ability to learn and think critically. And those are in decline.
The guy said, I disagree. Having knowledge is not the same as intelligence. It is learning to think critically and like retain the actual information given to you. And she says, I disagree. And I'm like, I disagree with your disagreement. Because that is wholesale what knowledge is. That is wholesale what learning is. You are learning something, retaining the knowledge, and then applying that knowledge into future actions you're doing. Again, if I sit there and I read a book about how to repair my motorcycle, and then I don't understand a damn thing that's written on there, it's not intelligent of me the fact that I can read it. What would be intelligent of me if I'm able to retain the information and then take that information and transfer it over to actually trying to fix my bike. Whether or not I'm successful in doing so is still part of intelligence, but the fact of the matter is I'm still able to understand what is being written and transcribe that knowledge into something or other. It's the transfer of knowledge into another means, and then to retain that knowledge and then move on to the next step. If you can't do that, that's not really intelligence then. Again, someone could sit there and read the entire Great Gatsby from page cover to cover, and then ask them, what did you just read? And they look back at me with the blank face of a fucking NPC and is like, I don't know. You just sat there for like 5 hours reading the Great Gatsby. I'm like, yeah. Who was the main character? I don't know. What time period did the location take in? I don't know. Was the main character even a guy or a girl? I don't know. I think it was a dude. What the fuck was the point of you reading the book then? I don't know. You told me to read the book. But that's how it feels like. That's not knowledge then. How is that knowledge if you can read a book but then you don't retain anything that the book said?
I disagree. I think you're exposed to more people acting stupid, and so your brain becomes biased because human brains are hardwired to
Pippa, if you're surrounded by people who are stupid and that's your everyday life, and then you keep meeting more and more people who keep telling you I'm surrounded by stupid people, that's kind of a pattern at that point then. That means there's a lot of stupid people, and you just so happen to be getting people who are less stupid. Now again, I don't agree with what I just said there. I just thought it was funny to point out.
Yeah.
feed off of negativity.
I mean, her and Kirsha are pretty chaotic.
Teachers, I had numerous issues with high school students who couldn't use a computer for more than YouTube. One kid couldn't use Google Images. How is that even...
One kid couldn't use Google Images? How the fuck do you manage? Holy shit, dude. That's amazing.
Different than how it's always been. Like,
Amazing.
Like, what?
one kid couldn't use Google Images. How is that any different than how it's always been? Like,
What do you mean? Are you telling me back in the day people couldn't understand? Hey, look, tab. What is this thing? Oh, look, it's Bing. I'm gonna type in Google. Oh, what's this say up here? Images? If the fact that you can't do that in this day and age and you're comparing it to people back in the day, I'm sorry, Pippa. I'm gonna hard disagree with you. I don't think people back in the day were that so blatantly retarded. Now, granted, this guy that she's probably talking about, who made this comment, maybe he works with special needs. I can't tell you, but I'm saying right now, if you're saying that, then that's like the average. That's not the average.
they have to learn. They have to, like, they're kids. Tactical pans.
Oh yeah, if they're like fucking 2 or 3, maybe, and maybe the kid's got ADHD, sure, but like, I gotta imagine kids is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I imagine when someone says kids, that's around the age range of like 6 to 14.
Mr. Chan, thank you. I don't know, people. I think I saw an article saying that a good amount of high schoolers are graduating while being illiterate. Don't know if that's true though. I personally don't buy it.
Recent national assessments show that the more U.S. students are falling below the basic reading proficiency of that they had before. The problem is the problem is growing. According to the 2024 National Assessment of Educational Progress (NAPE), only 30% of 4th grade students and 29% of 8th grade students met the NAPD proficient level of in reading, the lowest such percentage in decades. Even more alarming was about 1/3 of the 8th graders scored below the NAP basic level, the highest shared in over 30 years. In 4th grade, 40% of the students still below the basic levels of percent. Anyways, also, I want to add this. The AP's actual reading score is reading above the actual, like, it always goes by the sector, like, grade below what they are. So, for instance, if you're in 8th grade, you need to at least be able to read within an actual 6th to 5th grade level. If you're an actual 4th grader, you need to be able to read within a 3rd to 2nd grade level. If you're telling me the fact that someone is in 3rd grade and then that can lead at least basically to a 1st grade level, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
I personally don't buy it. High school students? When I was in high school, it was the same thing. Like, most kids don't know how to use, like, Google Docs or Excel or Microsoft Word.
See, that's a bit more understandable because like those weren't always prevalent in high schools, especially what type of high school you went to. Like I didn't learn how to use Google Talks until college when that became a necessity to use that for the actual like assignments we were given.
I mean, I didn't know how to use Google Docs until my teacher started using it.
Right, but see that's the difference though. There is a difference between not knowing how to do something because you were never taught it, or not, or someone showing you something exists and then teaching you how to do it, but not retaining the information. If you don't know something exists, like let's say for instance, let's say you, right, and me, we went to 2 different schools, and then we were both taught like math up until algebra. And then in your school, they made it mandatory that you need to learn calculus to pass on to get to college. In my school, it wasn't mandatory. It was an elective, and it wasn't an elective that anyone really knew about, right? Then me and you would go to the same college, right? And then we take a college course in mathematics. And then in that school, you're required to use calculus to solve the equations. I never actually have taken any calculus class, or not even knowing of its existence. I'm confused. You look at me and you're like, you don't know calculus? You fucking stupid idiot. And I'm like, why am I stupid? I never heard about this. It's information I was never privy to. I'm naive, yes, and I may be ignorant on the subject, but that doesn't inherently mean you're stupid if you never knew the information. Just because one bit of information is open up to you does not, and not open up to someone else, does not make them stupid. It just means that that was not something that was either acquired in their life and their learning period, or again, they might be naive or ignorant of the situation. Now, at that point, if we were both taught calculus at the same time, and you retained all the information that was given to you, but I had trouble, and I never told anyone I had trouble, and I just kept like passing through class willy nilly, and I kept getting F after F after F after F, that then has something to do with either A, lack of care, understanding, or intelligence. Again, intelligence is not marked by the fact that you're able to read something or be taught something. It's if you're able to retain the information and understand it to a critical level to then use that information to then either A, answer or solve the problem that's been provided in front of you. In which case, I go back to the motorcycle example. Just because I read an entire book talking to me about how to fix a motorcycle, but then I don't retain any knowledge of how to actually do it, there's a problem. Same way if I was being taught how to fix a motorcycle, if let's say my teacher teaches me how to put a bike chain back on, right? He shows it to me. He like sits there, explains it in a graph, writes it down for me. Like he gives me 3 different methods of understanding the problem. And then when I actually go in front of the bicycle, and I just stand there like a lump staring at it because I don't remember anything he just told me. That's a level of intelligence that has nothing to do with anything else. He explained it to me 3 different ways, and I either A, didn't understand, B, didn't care to understand, or B, couldn't understand. That's intelligence. I'm not retaining any of the information that was given to me.
Okay.
They learned how to in school. Before that, they didn't need to use that shit because they're 16.
That's not intelligence then!
Are they gonna need to use Microsoft Word before reaching the age in which they need to learn to use Microsoft Word? Name a teenager that knows what a JPEG is. Bro, most people don't know what a JPEG is. You know why? Because most people don't have to actually use computers.
Well, no, I would say most people don't. Most people probably have heard of a JPEG and might even know what a JPEG is. What they probably don't know is what JPEG stands for.
Yeah, I don't even know what JPEG even stands for either. I don't even know what PNG stands for either. No, seriously.
Use computers.
Oh, you're asking me? I don't know. I never had to look it up. I'm actually curious now. What does JPEG stand for? I'm assuming it's going to be JPEG stands for Joint Photographic Experts Group. Wait, what? Group?
No wonder.
Stands for Joint Photographic Experts Group. Name of the community of the created by the JPEG standard. Oh, okay. Wait, no, that's... Here you go.
Yeah,
Everything you need to know about the JPEG files. Okay. Seen on the web browser and smartphones everywhere, JPEG is a file form which bread the butter. Every image is a file server. To find out the history of JPEG, you can see... I just need to know what the fuck it stands for. Oh, here we go. JPEG stands for the... Okay, so it does stand for that. So it stands for the actual group that basically helped create it. So yeah, it stands for the Joint Photographic Expert Group, an international organization that standardized the format during the 1980s and early 1990s. So that's what it stands for.
Yeah, probably like Macintosh in the Amiga days.
Wait, so then if it stands for the actual group that invented it, what the fuck does PMG stand for then? PMG.
Yeah, thanks, Pippa. That's why we love you, Pippa.
PMG stands for the Portable Network Graphics.
Yeah.
Popular image file, which,
Yeah.
but why call it portable
Isn't that
then?
right? Isn't that right, Dula?
What is PMG? PMG is short for the Portable Network Graphics, a type of raster image in file. The particularly popular file type is who web designers... I guess that makes sense for portable, but I guess because you're portable, you're moving one specific image and frame from another? Okay. Oh, as you were talking to me, what?
Dula.
What?
Isn't that right, Dula? We love Pippa.
Yeah, I love Pippa.
You think they actually care
Yeah,
about
she's
using
funny.
the computer? That was a fucking King of the Hill reference. Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? But see, some people genuinely believe that.
God damn it, Bubba, that boy ain't right.
They're like, oh, okay, that's stupid, 'cause they don't know.
You know, I won't lie, the reboot King of the Hill series, I was kind of worried about it. So far, from what I've seen, I don't hate it.
What a GIF is. They don't know what a JPEG in Excel or spreadsheets or whatever the fuck. It's like, bro, because when did they need to use that? Pizza Man, thank you.
Again, I want to reiterate one last time, that does not contribute to knowledge to the same way. Just because you're not privy to information doesn't make you retarded. What makes you retarded is if you're being taught that information and you retain none of the information that's being shown to you.
But more education has expanded than anything else. When I was a kid, the poorest here didn't go to school. They do now, that's why. Bugabonga, thank you. Real literacy, rabbit, not tech literacy. Even real literacy. Like, people love to doom. Right back then, I think humans are smarter than we...
I'm not dooming, I'm just being realistic. People are retarded right now, Pippa.
Yeah.
Now, people are being retarded right now to a small percentage, but it's a small percentage more than what it used to be.
Like it's gonna grow.
It's gonna grow if nothing changes. If nothing changes soon in the actual educational system of all schooling, and nothing changes in the actual methodology of which we actually do to learn things. Like, yes, again, I agree with Pippa. In the sense that we have an informational hub on our phone. The problem is, much like us, how we didn't know what the fuck JPEG is, right? We just read that shit online.
Yeah.
Cool. I understand what it stands for now, and I'm going to retain that information. The problem is now, how often do you know of people that actually do that in everyday life? I don't know X thing. Do you think people are going to more willingly look that up themselves, or do you think they're going to go, "Hey Siri, look up what JPEG stands for"?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The fuck? Siri, stop listening. Siri, stop!
I can't believe Siri picked up your voice.
She never activates when I actually say her fucking voice. Siri, stop listening.
Just say stop.
I can't help you with that. Oh my god. I'm so glad her voice didn't come through. I saw my phone blip. I always put my voice on silent whenever I'm doing recordings. But I think we've gotten what we can from this. I understand where you brought this up. It did have a vision, but I think that's kind of
So was it mostly? Was it just like a mixed bag, or was it just?
No, I think she's. I agree with her on the notion of AI art and AI in general. My problem is the fact that when we actually start cutting that into the actual idea of knowledge base for the actual action which she was going into afterwards, that's my biggest problem with this whole clip.
Yeah, but I think that's not really relevant to our take on AI for the art situation that we were talking about earlier.
Right, but you wanted me to watch the whole clip for some reason, so I just watched it.
Yeah, but I think but I was giving you like an example because I think you agree. I think she has a good point when it comes to, like you said, on the stuff that we were talking about earlier about the art.
Majority of it, I would agree with. Yes, I don't see a problem with like it. But then again, her take was kind of, I don't know, kind of like normity. Like it wasn't anything like it wasn't anything crazy. It was something kind of what I would expect.
At least she's not an anti-AI.
Right, and but even if she was, my problem with anti-AI people isn't the fact that they are against AI. It's the fact that they're so vehemently against AI. Their arguments against it are so bad, misinformed, and just like completely like downright unrealistic. That essentially is what I'm saying is they're making bad arguments for a bad point. Yeah. That's my problem. If they actually provided some actual information or gave me an actual like a strong reasoning as to why I should be against the AI working the way it does too, then maybe I could actually agree with them. The problem is their actual argumentation is such crap that, and not only that, but it's not even really, again, you have to answer the critical points I have with the AI discussion either.
But at least Pippa's not like that.
Well, no, again, I never thought she would be.
At least she's trying to be honest, you know. At least
no, there's nothing wrong with that. I love the fact that Pippa's honest. It's the fact that like I don't vehemently agree with everything she just said there. I think she.
Yeah, I mean, you probably do the same thing with Kirsha too, because you probably would agree with some of her stuff, but
Oh yeah, I watch
you
Kirsha.
don't
I watch Kirsha, and I disagree with like a good chunk of what she says. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with people, especially if you like them. Like
It's probably the same level as Pippa, I assume.
probably yes and no. You have to remember Pippa's more entertainment factor, where she talk about almost everything and anything. Kirsha's more focused around the idea of politics. So it's a lot harder to agree and disagree with her, mainly because the information I'm getting is coming from her. So I prefer, especially when it comes to things like that, to do my own information, to actually start gathering my own judgment
Yeah.
call on something. So it's a lot harder for me to say I disagree or agree with Kirsha more than Pippa, because that fact of matter there's.
But yeah, I still love the chaotic bunny girl. And I still love the crazy fox.
No, I love her. I love a little chibi model.
And
It's cute.
Yeah, I mean, when I met her at WeebCon,
Yeah, I know. But anyways, I think that's gonna cover it for today. I got a couple of
Yeah.
videos I need to work on, and I want to
Was
put
that the
one.
last one we're gonna cover?
Yeah, that's the last one we're
right.
gonna cover.
I thought we were gonna cover the IGN one.
What IGN one
Well, earlier.
did I
I
have?
was like, oh, IGN.
Uh
Because I was about to mention. Mixtape.
yeah. I mean that doesn't have to do with anime, but I can talk about it very quick.
Because I was gonna mention the game Mixtape, and I made a comment earlier because you made a post.
So IGN decided to, for some odd reason, give this game a straight 10 out of 10. Like I'm talking like they.
It just feels out of nowhere. It just literally feels out of nowhere. That's the thing. It just feels out of nowhere. It's like.
No, it doesn't feel out of nowhere. I could totally buy like fucking IGN doing something this stupid. Because again, I actually at one point wanted to react to this person named Alana Pierce, who used to work for IGN, who later worked for fucking the same company that did the remake for God of War. But yeah, so IGN is notorious as a company for their standards of giving everything of a game 7 out of 10s. 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10s.
Funny?
They have only
I
ever...
remember a lot.
What's
I
up?
remember last year. I remember years ago when I was like such a diehard Sonic fan. People were like, I was just mad at IGN saying that Sonic was never good. I'm like, why? I played a shit ton of Sonic games at the time.
So,
yes,
okay.
granted, there are shitty Sonic games, but at the same time, you can't just say Sonic was good when there's like legit good Sonic games.
So even IGN wrote this article. These are every game IGN has ever given a 10 out of 10. So we have Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, which is a DLC. We have Stardew Valley, Aga's Wrath 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil 4, Dead Cells, Metroid Remastered, Dwarf Fortress, Panama, God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Forza 5, Deathloop. Like, again, like you can see the fact that I'm scrolling through this. That's it. They have not. Then the games they gave 10 out of 10, arguably, you can be like, yeah, those are good games, but are they 10 out of 10 material?
No.
Again, I like a lot of these games on here. The problem is, would you say the original God of War is a 10 out of 10 game?
It's not age well.
Would you say Overwatch is a 10 out of 10 game?
Well,
Would you say
time
The
and-
Last of Us 2 is a 10 out of 10
oh my
game?
God, what the fuck?
Again, this is IGN, and this is exclusive, which is why I'm not too surprised they gave a specific game like this a 10 out of 10. What I'm surprised about is the fact that this game, to me, came out of nowhere. It's a small little indie game, and I'm like,
I
whoa.
never even heard. Nobody has even heard of it until IGN to give it a 10 out of 10.
You gotta remember, IGN is also notorious. They gave Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire remakes 7 out of 10s, because one of their big staples was like too much water.
Too much water. Too much water. Is that the argument that they could give? Just too much water?
Well, that's one of the ones people retain the most. But yeah, so
IGN has become. I feel like IGN has become the Rotten Tomatoes of gaming.
So, a musical delight from start to finish sets a new standard for coming of age stories in games. True nostalgic isn't a replication of a specific place or time, but a feeling. Those flashes of emotions are transported back into the memories. Okay, so this is purely nostalgic bait. You had a feeling of relatability to these characters, to these teenagers, about what they were going for, and you allowed it to cloud your judgment for gameplay, for story, for characters. That's what I'm getting at this one now. But yeah, so IGN gave a 10 out of 10 to this game called Mixtape, a game I had never heard about until this moment, and people on social media went fucking ballistic. And I took a quick glance at the game. I'm like, oh, this looks cringy and horrendous as hell.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's why I said when you made that post.
Yeah, so I made the post 9 hours ago. So IGN recently gave a game called Mixtape a 10 out of 10 review score. A perfect score, mind you. Now, I don't put much stock towards the company that hands out 7 out of 10 review scores like they were candy on a Halloween. Nor much faith in their inability to objectively praise / critique a game's story and gameplay. But an interesting opportunity has been arisen from this. Xbox Game Pass has added Mixtape to its library. So asking you all if you should give this game the old college try and see if it's even worth the half of the review score IGN gave it. And so far with 5 votes, I've gotten yes. With, oh my god, yeah, 3 votes with yes, 2 votes with finished RE9 and Dark Souls Baka. So I'm gonna let this go. I will be continuing RE9 and Dark Souls. You have my word. I already have planned it for the continue RE9 this week. I'm probably gonna be doing that. I'm debating if I want to do that tomorrow or if I want to do that Thursday. Because my plan is to finish RE9 and then get straight away back to Dark Souls. But if I add this into the mix, I might need to like fast track it a bit. But yeah. So
I might do a collab.
But yeah, I gotta finish. We gotta finish up here because my dog is going haywire. She really needs to either use the bathroom or she wants to eat. So, with that being said, it is. I think this is actually a longer stream now. But yeah, guys. So we're gonna finish up here.
I think it's gonna continue to be a lot more longer these upcoming Anime Mondays.
Yeah, if we keep talking and shit like that, yeah. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna let Gooey go first. Is there anything you want to say to the nice fans who have stuck with us throughout the entirety of this?
Nope. It was quite a ride.
Yep. It really was. And for me, as always, guys, no matter where you guys in the world, no matter what time it is for you guys, I always want you guys to have a good morning, a great afternoon, a beautiful evening, and a blessed night. Stay safe, everybody. Love y'all. Peace, and see you tomorrow for tomorrow's stream.